Jonathan Taylor, there he goes again. 50, 40, down the far sideline. He might do it again. 10, 5, touchdown. I-N-D-Y.
The Eastern Conference Championship has been captured by the Indiana Pacers.
Alex Pillow wins the 109th Indianapolis 500.
This is the Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
Oh, it's a special morning this morning on a Thursday. Sure, we've got NFL football tonight. Sure, the Indiana Fever face a win-or-go-home playoff game, an elimination game for everybody tonight in Atlanta. But, Mark, I believe it's a very special day, not only here in the studio, throughout all of Indianapolis, and dare I say, all of the state of Indiana today. Should be a national holiday. Good morning, Kevin Bowen. Happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you.
How you
Appreciate
doing today?
That, Mark
Happy
Dykton.
birthday
Thank
to
you.
you.
I know. I was really hoping James would hit that note like he did last week with Matt Taylor. They're a little caught off guard. But no, nonetheless, Mark Dykton, thank you. Yes, the big
You're
3-6
welcome.
today
Yeah.
for myself.
Man, you're right in the prime of your life.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that way
You're.
when you've seen the chiropractor as much as I have, and you've gone to the hair doctor as much as I
Yeah, I was
have.
about to
and
say,
should I continue down the list? Would you guys,
the prime of your life.
would you guys like me to continue down the list? It's a miracle downstairs still works to the level that it does.
Okay.
Man.
Laying on the couch at
I'll say, hold
7:03.
on. I didn't see that left turn coming right there.
Well, I mean, you need to be descriptive here.
Okay. Good morning, James Boyd. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I am glad for Kevin Bowen and his descriptions here on this Thursday morning.
Vivid imagery, right? Isn't that what they taught us, James, back in the day?
Yeah, back in J school, that is what I was taught. The more detail, the better.
Well, it's all good, and we're looking forward to a tremendous day today. Thanks for joining us. However you may be listening to us today, we'll get to that coming up in a few minutes. It was a nice night of not having to watch Fever last night, no real football games for us to watch or anything like that. So I took the opportunity, and it was perfect timing. I wish they'd consult with me every year. My son's first band concert over at the high school was last night, so out on the lawn, under the stars, it was good. I didn't have to worry about following any kind of sports, so it was a good night last night.
Boy, it sounds like
I
an
like
awesome night there. Under the
Yeah,
stars, out on
yeah.
the lawn.
It was
Beautiful
good stuff.
time for a little happy birthday remix or whatever songs they were singing.
Yeah, it's all good stuff. And then, of course, we have a lot of football to talk about today, and I want to bring this up right out of the gate. I'm minding my own business. I read both you guys religiously. Kevin, you at 1075thefan.com. James, you at The Athletic. And I like to see what you guys are writing and following. How about this headline after 2 weeks? You ready? And it's a legit headline. Indianapolis Colts' biggest offseason decisions look like home runs so far, James Boyd.
Yeah, that's what a piece that I put out yesterday. And that's why I was asking you all, what do you think is like the top move besides bringing in Daniel Jones? And we pretty much covered them in a lot of your responses. But, yeah, I encourage you all to check that out. I kind of gave Chris Ballard his flowers and company as well because it's not just him. But, yeah, the responses to that story were a mixed bag. Some people wanted me to just continue to, criticize his tenure. And I get it. It's early. But, I mean, if I can't say anything positive after 2 games like that, being 2-0 for the first time in 16 years, then when am I ever going to say anything positive? So I have no problem eating a little crow here early in the season.
Well, let's talk about it a little bit. Obviously, I mean, you went down the line, the additions they made to free agency on defense. Obviously, Mooney Ward banged up a little bit right now, but certainly you can't go wrong with Cam Bynum. That was terrific there. And then you talk about the selection of Tyler Warren. You talk about getting Lou Anarumo. A lot of things seem to have gone right, Kevin Bowen, so far after just 2 games in this season.
Tremendous start. Obviously, Daniel Jones' presence and what he has done, and now you're just praying for Tyler Warren's toe, correct?
That is true. He was not practicing yesterday because of his toe. Josh Downs, also another big part of their offense, did not practice yesterday either due to an ankle injury. I would say for those who always ask us these things, Kevin, if you missed the Wednesday practice, I'm not too concerned. I'm not freaking out as a reporter. However, Thursday and Friday are usually the big days for me to see, okay, how much are you moving around and what is your availability looking like heading into the weekend. So usually if you're dinged up after a game, you missed the Wednesday practice, not a big deal. But speaking of toes, whenever I see that type of injury, I'm like, how bad is it? Is it turf toe? Because we know, obviously, with Joe Burrow recently, we get a little concerned with the turf toe.
I always say this about the old NFL injury report, James. In my years covering the league, I equate the injury report Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to a college course that you take where they only offer 3 assignments. Okay? Hear me out here. You have a 3-assignment course for the whole semester. Did you like those courses, by the way? Would you rather have the fewer assignments, or would you rather have a little bit more?
Probably a little bit more, because knowing me in college, I was going to BS at least one exam or something, and I need time to recover.
Okay. So, well, to me, the Wednesday practice, that's like your 10% of your course.
Yeah.
Okay, you
got time to recover.
You can not show up, and you can be all right. I equate the Thursday practice to about 30% of your course, so it matters a little bit more. And then I consider the Friday practice 60% of your entire semester grade. Does that analogy ring at all? 10% on Wednesday.
I want to hear from your students about this.
30% on Thursday, and the Friday practice 60%. Like last week with Latu, we didn't see him Thursday, Friday. I mean, that ain't good for your semester grade. Brock Bowers, you want to talk about a tight end last week? Doesn't practice Wednesday. Doesn't practice the equivalent of Thursday. I think they had a Monday night game, so they pushed everything back a day. But then he practiced Friday. And if you practice the last day of the week, it's usually a very good sign of you playing in that game. But nonetheless, Tyler Warren, Josh Downs, as James mentioned, very, very notable. An ankle for Downs. Again, he battled the hamstring in training camp. So good news defensively, Mooney Ward, not even in a red jersey. So he is deep into the concussion protocol, him back in a normal blue jersey. And then the fact that Latu did anything, even though just a limited fashion, I would say is a good sign. And we'll see about Bernard Ryman. Illness. He was limited yesterday, so I don't know if the illness occurred during practice or if they just dialed back his reps because he has been under the weather. But a little bit more on the Wednesday injury report than we've seen in week 1 or 2.
All right, looking for final grades on Friday afternoon is what we're looking for. Just go to the door and look at your grades. Is that how it works?
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, I think it kind of speaks to it there.
I like it. So we'll keep an eye on that. And certainly, James, they desperately need all the pass rushing they can get. So hopefully Latu can come back, because they didn't have much of one against the Broncos.
I don't know if they desperately need it, though, because if you look at the Titans, they're super banged up, bad team.
Maybe in this particular week, yeah.
Exactly, and that's why I would err on the side of caution when it comes to Latu. Like, yeah, if you're feeling good, and you do have to trust the athlete, trust your trainers, and if he's saying I can go, then hell, you paid him to go after the quarterback in every game that he's available, so that would be a plus. But if there is any hesitancy, I just don't see why you would risk running him out there for a game that you absolutely should win without him. I mean, you won last week without him. Javarius Ward is trending in the right direction, so the secondary should be a little bit better with him back in the lineup potentially. And I just think that you look at some of these Tennessee Titans, whether it's film or the numbers or whatever, this is not a good team. And, considering that we're looking at back at the Dolphins, it's not a good team. In week 1, do what you did to them. Go out there and handle business.
We talked about these first 3 weeks for a long time leading up to the beginning of the regular season, and we were all like, maybe things break right. They could certainly beat Miami at home, and, Denver's going to be tough, and you're thinking to yourself realistically 2-1 start. But now, realistically, Kevin, you're looking seriously at a 3-0 start with a game in the division in hand if you just go take care of business against a team that just hasn't shown very much this year.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be disappointed right now if you weren't 3-0, which is kind of crazy. But again, you put yourself in a position to get the gift in week 2, and you got it. And now you have an ability to continue to play from ahead, which, whether it's in the division, whether it's in a season, the Colts have not played from ahead very often. And I think you've caught a little bit of a scheduling break in the AFC South in the fact that you see Cam Ward twice here in the first 2 months of the season. Like, that's another area where you take advantage. Sometimes with these rookie quarterbacks later in the year, like Drake May, I thought he played pretty good football against the Colts late in the year. Like that, I think is still to be seen with Cam Ward right now. Their offense has been horrific, and their defense has been slightly better than that. And as James pointed out, they're dealing with some notable injuries in the front of both of their trenches. Definitely on the offensive line, a little bit on the D line. So this could be a little get-right game for the Indianapolis Colts, particularly on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, while a lot of the divisional schedule is weighted towards the back half for the Colts, they do play the Titans in Week 3 and Week 8, so they get the rookie quarterback out of the way in the first half of the season, James. Great point by Kevin there. And when you do see him in Week 8, when he's had a little chance to get his feet under him, at least you're at home, too.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at week 3. First road game for this team. I thought Zaire Franklin had some interesting comments about Cam Ward yesterday. Actually, Mark, I'll probably send you that audio throughout the show. We can play that. Zaire is never one to shy away from ruffling a few feathers. And I actually agree with him on this, which he said. So I'll tease that a little bit, and we'll get into it on the other side of the break. But, yeah, there's always going to be some animosity there between the Colts and the Titans. And so far, or at least in recent years, the Colts have had the Titans' number. So we'll see if that continues on Sunday.
All right, and coming up in a moment, we'll give you a rundown on everything that's going on in the world of sports from the lens of Indianapolis, and we will get you ready for a big Thursday show. NFL Week 3 starts later on tonight. We'll give you all the details on that as we continue next. It's 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good morning and happy Thursday. NFL football returning tonight. The Buffalo Bills will be hosting the Miami Dolphins. That'll scratch your itch for a couple of days before the Colts get going again on Sunday afternoon against the Tennessee Titans. And James Boyd, I know you'll be making the trip to Nashville. What is one big key of the game for the Indianapolis Colts here?
Get after Cam Ward. Make his life miserable. He has struggled through the first 2 weeks. Been sacked a lot, been pressured a lot. I think he's a talented player, don't get me wrong. But when rookies are on your schedule, you got to beat the rookies.
And Kevin Bowen, what did we learn health-wise for the Colts yesterday, particularly with Mooney Ward?
Yeah, good news there. Blue jersey, so he has progressed pretty deep in the concussion protocol as long as no setbacks. I would say he's trending in a very positive direction to play on Sunday. Latu was limited, so we'll see his progression with that hamstring injury throughout the week, but a good sign that he was practicing on Wednesday. On the flip side of it, we will monitor both Josh Downs and Tyler Warren now the rest of the week. It was an ankle injury for Downs, a toe injury for Warren. They both were observing practice yesterday, so I made my poor college school analogy in the opening segment. I won't bore you with it again. Actually, I might throw it in there at one more point during the show, but it's a Wednesday practice. Not the end of the world, but I don't know. Tyler Warren was definitely taking his time moving across the field yesterday. I will say that.
All right, we'll keep an eye on how the Colts progress throughout the rest of the week. Later on tonight, it's on the road, but it's Game 3 of a best-of-3 playoff series. The Indiana Fever stayed alive with a convincing win the other night against the Atlanta Dream. Tonight, they'll face off at 7:30, airtime 7:15 with Eddie Garrison here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. And this team just keeps coming back and coming back and coming back. And, James, why not tonight for the Indiana Fever to advance to the second round?
Yeah, I think one of the keys tonight will be your three-point shooting. Can you knock down some tray balls on the road? Because I think that will be one of the best equalizers, especially in a hostile environment. And then on top of that, can you offset what Atlanta was able to do in Game 1 with a lot of their physicality on the inside? In Game 2, I thought the Fever were much better on the inside, a couple of blocks, a couple of strips, making it tough on their players to really get those easy buckets. And if that's the case, you should find yourself in a do-or-die game right there at the end. And I think it's one of the things that John Nolan pointed out to me, one of the Fever play-by-play announcers after Game 2, was that, hey, we haven't really had a close game in this series. Will we get that tonight? And if that is the case, can you find just a couple more plays in the final few minutes to get over the hump? And if they advance, they will face the winner of Aces Storm.
And I think that would favor the Fever, James. Honestly, I think you get game pressure on Atlanta, they're going to crumble, frankly. I think the uglier, the closer the game is, more pressure is on Atlanta. As the home team, as the heavy favored team, as the Fever have a million people in street clothes. And at the end of the day, all the injury issues for the Fever, they still have one of the best scorers we've ever seen in the WNBA, and they have an all-star in the post.
Doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt.
That does not hurt. A lot of teams would take that. So, again, can you put game pressure on Atlanta in the final few minutes tonight? If you can do that, I think the Fever got a great opportunity.
Minnesota Lynx last night advanced to the semifinals again as they came from 17 points behind to beat the Golden State Valkyries 75-74. Second year in a row they are back to the semifinals as the WNBA playoffs continue. College football coming up this weekend. Purdue, of course, playing at Notre Dame. Illinois at Indiana. James, I don't know if you've heard there's the little football game coming up in Bloomington this weekend. I know you're excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big game for Indiana, just another game for Illinois, so we'll get it done.
I didn't realize Illinois' football history is not much at all.
It really isn't. Brother.
You didn't know that?
I'm like,
no.
If you're not talking about like the early 2000s, what are we talking about with Illinois football? It was pretty bad when I was in school. I mean, when Lovie Smith got hired as the coach, people were like loving it, and then it took maybe 2 years for them to be like, all right, this guy is not it.
Santa Lovie back when he was the coach.
They lost 63-0 to Iowa like the year that I graduated. And I remember thinking, Iowa doesn't score 63 points in a season. So how did you get that up in one game? So things have changed a lot.
I'm thinking of Juice Williams and Rashad Mendenhall.
Yeah,
Didn't they go to a Rose Bowl with them?
Monte Davis, I want to say, went to.
There's been some individual players, sure, but
Kurt Kittner.
Ooh, that's a quarterback
Jeff
from
George,
a long time
Illinois
ago.
guy?
Jeff George.
Was
Throw
that for a
back
minute?
there.
You can watch both games this weekend. Purdue Notre Dame starts at 3:30. Illinois Indiana goes at 7:30, and also Ball State plays at Connecticut. That's a 3:30 in the afternoon game. All right, Major League Baseball, they're not dead yet. I keep telling you this.
God.
The Reds beat the Cardinals last night 6-2,
we
while the
should
Mets
probably lead with the Cubs.
lost to the Padres 7-4, so the hope is still alive.
Didn't the Cubs clinch?
I was going to say we should probably.
That is not the lead when the Reds win.
Mark, congrats.
Thank you.
It's your birthday.
Yeah,
Mark,
leading with the
congratulations.
Reds, who are deader than Robert Redford at this point.
Mark.
Oh, my goodness.
That was too soon.
What are we talking about
The
here?
Cubs
Like,
might get swept
The
now.
man is not even cold yet.
Jeez.
Come on, Mark.
what are we doing?
Oh,
When we've been batting around the
believe
Reds
it.
like a
Jeez.
cat has a ball of yarn. Like,
Who
Man.
plays later on today,
I would
Mark?
expect me to say something like that, but Mark, you are
Who
taking the
plays
cake
later
for the
on
most
today,
ruthless
Mark?
person on the show.
You
Who
believe
played-
in sports superstitions? I mean, you just ruined it. Bears are going to lose. Cubs are going to lose. Hell, Brownsburg might lose
Jeez.
this weekend after that
Man.
comment.
well, the Bears losing wouldn't be nothing. That'd be a typical Sunday. But
Fair.
yeah, the Cubs and Reds now Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, big 4-game series. More for, I guess, the Reds if we're gonna really keep that.
Now, baseball
Well, the
teams
Mets have
don't.
to play the Padres this weekend.
Baseball teams don't really do the full-on rest.
No,
They like to keep routines, right? For the
Mhm.
most part. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe you'll get an occasional rest thing, but that's not really something baseball teams do.
All right, the Indianapolis Indians last night, losers 5-0 at Gwinnett. They will play again tonight at 7:05. Anything else you guys want to throw in right now?
Biggest spread in the NFL of the year so far. That is tonight, 12.5. I'll have Jason Hammer on in a couple hours to talk more about this. James Boyd said on Monday that the NFL is weird. I think one of the hardest things about the NFL is predicting when weird is going to happen. Is weird going to happen tonight?
It's always possible, and that's why the NFL, I think, is king.
Right.
Because you can look at the point spread, you can look at who's available, but there
And
could
like
be
Thursday night games, I feel like are weirder.
Yeah, because a short week, rest, you don't know if guys have recovered. Even Josh Allen's dealing with like the swollen nose this week. Will that affect him a little bit, going into this game? Just little things like that.
Like
Bad
when
news,
I say it out
yeah.
loud, I'm like, don't be an idiot. It's the Bills. They're going
Yeah.
to roll. But then I'm
and
like,
they're at home.
when is weird going to happen? Is it tonight?
Let's just hope it doesn't happen to the Indianapolis Colts anywhere. That's all we're hoping. This Sports Report brought to you by Bet365. When it comes to sportsbooks, Bet365 has it all. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
I can't believe Mark said that.
what do you mean?
You might get haunted for a couple of days, brother.
man. I hope the Redford family ain't listening.
We've been having this Reds talk for like 2 weeks now.
Trust
if not
me,
longer.
I've been the one that's been from day one saying
Yes.
they are dead.
But have
they
a little class,
stink.
Mark. My
But
goodness.
man, the old analogy
I
there.
graduated from college a long time ago. No class coming here.
My cousin Jeff, who went with me to my first ever Major League Baseball game, which is at the old Riverfront Stadium on its 5th anniversary, no less, when Johnny Bench hit a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 12th to win it, and that started my Reds fandom. So I texted Jeff last night, and I said, hey, is it just me? I'm the only one on our show that think the Reds have any kind of chance. Am I crazy? Yes, you are. Give me a call.
Yeah, he's concerned about your mental health.
Yes. It's like, what are
I'm
you
glad.
talking about?
Yeah.
September 18th.
He's better than me because I'd have left you on red.
I've noticed this.
Like I say, anything stupid come to my phone, nah, I ain't got time for this.
The Fan Morning Show takes a look at a tremendous start for the Indianapolis Colts and where they go from here. It's next on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
So far, so good for the Indianapolis Colts. They survived some late game malfeasance and win on the second week of the year at home against the Denver Broncos. They won the week before that in dominant fashion against the Miami Dolphins. Now they move on to a team, James Boyd, that's been fairly hapless through 2 weeks. The Tennessee Titans and their rookie quarterback Cam Ward, who ranks last in several quarterback categories statistically right now. It's been a rough go for him so far.
Yeah, I think he's a talented player. I think when you listen to the Colts defense talk about him, they've given him that respect as a number one pick. But at the same time, the way Zaire kind of described it to us yesterday is like the rookies are taking that first exam. I guess sticking with Kevin's college examples from earlier, but when you're giving them that, new look or different type of defensive look, that should be something that you are having a leg up in and considerable leg up in, because he just hasn't had a lot of experience playing the game yet. And things are rough right now in Tennessee. I did some Tennessee radio yesterday and talking on to their side of things. They're concerned about, one, the lack of pass protection for Cam Ward. He's taking a lot of hits and sacks through the first 2 games. And then on the other side, they don't have much of a pass rush either. So if you look at what the Colts have done well offensively, they've given Daniel Jones time, and I would imagine he should have time again come Sunday against Tennessee.
Yeah, there are some good players on Tennessee. There's just not enough of them. I look at a guy like Jeffrey Simmons, who could play just about anywhere, but they just don't seem to have volume of great players right now. They're kind of starting all over there.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know who I'd classify as a good player besides Jeffrey Simmons on the Titans roster. I think it's a roster void of a lot of talent. Calvin Ridley good.
I'm starting to wonder because, man, I've
all I
seen
see
him
is Calvin really dropping footballs.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard.
Calvin Ridley can bet. We know that. I don't know if he's good.
That's actually pretty funny. Yeah, you got to hype up your guy Tony Pollard there, Jeff.
4 yards of carry last week.
There you go.
To me,
silver linings.
Tennessee right now, I mean, James pointed out individually, big picture, I think there's a lot of questions about Brian Callahan as a head coach. I mean, they have lost 8 games in a row.
What is it, 3 on the road in a row?
Yeah.
3 in a row after this.
Yeah.
So now that's 8 in a row. If you lose on Sunday, are you looking at 11, 12 in a row? How many head coaches have come back from 11-game losing streaks, 12-game losing streaks in their lives? And you got the awkward GM dynamic as well. So this is a very, very precarious time, I think, down there. And, this is part of NFL life. And Shane Steichen used the word discipline on Monday. He used it again yesterday. Sometimes the NFL schedule affords you these sorts of moments where there's not much like January impact to Sunday, in my opinion. Yeah. Like, I don't think necessarily you're going to have these huge evaluation points on September 21st or whenever the game is. That's going to matter if you are playing meaningful football in January. But it is about just handling your business like a pro. And it's still win or loss at the end of the day. It still matters as much as the Denver game did or the Rams game will next week. So this is a very much your road favorite. It's a rookie quarterback. It'll be a party atmosphere in that building on Sunday. Can you handle your business like a professional? That's what it comes down to. I don't think there'll be these grand, like if your defense plays well against Cam Ward, I don't necessarily think the defense is back on track. Like, no, I don't necessarily go there, but it's still a W or an L at the end of the day. So it is a big, can you handle your business type of week for the Colts.
Can't believe you didn't mention Johnny Hecker, the punter. He might get the most work of anybody this year.
I had no idea Johnny Hecker was their punter. Yeah, he's working more than Rigoberto Sanchez, right?
Yeah, I walked up to Rigoberto yesterday in the locker room. I told him, do some work. What are you doing around here? And he just laughed because he was like, yeah, I've been and then he corrected me and many others saying, hey, I have been the holder on a lot of these field goals. Yeah, and I was joking with
NFL Films did a highlight reel of his holds.
And I told Rigo, I said, man, we give all this credit to the kicker. I said, nothing happens without the holder. So when are we going to put you up on the shoulders of some of your teammates after a game-winning kick? And he was like, nah, it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah,
but
tell that to the Notre Dame holder.
Yeah, exactly. But me and Joel A. Erickson from Indy Star, and Joel, this is like his wheelhouse. We probably spent 3 or 4 minutes talking to Rigo about snaps and, different holds and how the ball spins and where does he want the seams to be. It is fascinating. Like, I actually think that I want to do a story on this at some point. perhaps later this year. Maybe it's like a bye-week story. But, like, I want to go around the locker room and ask every player, what's the hardest or weirdest thing about your position that the general public doesn't know? Because when he's talking about, like, we see it on tape, and it's like, oh, just, snap, hold, kick. He's like, no, there's so many things that go into it to make it look as easy as it was. And so shout out to Rigo for getting it done, because without that hold, obviously, you don't even get the kick.
Think about that. 13 times in 2 games he's had to hold the ball for a kick, extra point or field goal. That's impressive. 13 scores in 2 games. It's good stuff. Now, a little more, more field goals than I would like on all that, but still, that's a lot of scoring drives right there, Kevin.
Well, and that's something to keep in mind with this Colts offense right now. Like, how flukish is some of the moving the football? Maybe some of it is. Are the Colts going to continue at such a historic rate through the first 2 weeks? Yeah, it's probably fair to say they will come back down to earth a little bit. But they could make up for that from a point standpoint by just finishing off a few more drives.
Yeah.
They might not live in 6 red zone opportunities every game, but if you have 4 red zone opportunities and you just convert 1 more of them, then on the scoreboard, it might not look that different. So, again, in September NFL football, there's all these big questions. What's real, what's not? And it's hard because the sample size is so small. But with the Colts offense right now, yes, them not punting is probably unrealistic to continue here for the next X amount of games. That's fine if you take some of those red zone chances where they haven't ran it great, they've had a few penalties, and if you start converting some of those, now does that kind of offset, and does it come out in the wash a little bit? I think that's something that is quite possible. By the way, shout out to Jonathan Taylor. We talked about it yesterday.
Yes.
AFC Offensive Player of the Week for him. So I know Lamar Jackson had a big game last week, but they indeed gave it to Taylor, 4th time in his career. He is AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
Deservedly so. A big, big week. And, let's go a little bit further on what you were talking about a moment ago, James. Who've been some of the quiet, understated top performers for the Colts so far? Guys that are just getting their job done and maybe not getting a lot of pub, that are a big reason that this team is where they are at 2-0 right now.
Let's go around the room. I'll start it off. I will pick Tanner Bortolini. I think you're taking on a lot as a new starting center. I get he started a couple games last year, but now I am the guy, and you have a new offense that you're installing with Daniel Jones. You have a new quarterback, obviously, back there with Daniel Jones, and you have so many other position players depending on you to get your job done up front. And I think Tanner Bortolini, the fact that we haven't said his name a lot, is a good thing, because it means he's doing what he's supposed to do in the trenches.
I think it's an excellent call, and I also put Goncalves right there with him, too.
Gonzalez.
Thank you, Gonzalez. I'm having trouble with that this morning. But the two of them together, I mean, there were questions, right? We're moving around. These guys are taking over, and so far, so good. And especially, Kevin, against the Denver Broncos team that led the league in sacks last year.
Yeah, both of those I think are very good answers. Individually, defensively, I don't think there's many you would say, but I'll go with Nick Cross. Contract year for him.
I like that pick, yeah.
I think he's done a really nice job and just kind of being around the football, making plays. When I talk about defensive guys that have playmaked, oh boy. Again, the list is pretty short, but I would classify him as one of them. And I know Cam Bynum, deservedly so, has taken so many of the flowers as a safety, but I like Nick Cross's activity, and, could you back up last year? Him and Alec Pierce were probably 2 of the few Colts players you'd really single out for taking their game to another level last year. I would go with Nick Cross.
You talk about all those additions, and I asked for understated guys, and those are all fantastic. A guy who's not been understated, though, and you wrote about it in your column today, Cam Bynum has been everything that he was promised to be. He's taken the ball away in back-to-back games. He's been entertaining. And more than anything, he's just been in the right place at the right time. Not just the turnovers, but he's doing his job.
Absolutely. And I will go down this rabbit hole probably a little bit deeper when I talk to Cam Bynum, perhaps one-on-one in the coming weeks. But I wonder if spirit is a skill. Because everyone talks about how positive he is, and I get that he doesn't have, like, every single waking moment is positive, or every single game is going to be his best performance. He's going to have some, dark moments, questionable moments, whatever. But the fact that he is most of the time, 90% of the time, whatever the percentage might be, positive, I think is a skill. And I think that's something that you can't take away from him. And I know Mark just pulled the audio on what Shane was kind of getting into. One of the questions I got a chance to ask Shane yesterday is for as much as we like joke about Cam Bynum and his celebrations and how joyful he is, how serious does he take the game? I think that can be something that's understated when you're a player that's so jovial. And so here's what Shane Steichen had to say about Cam Bynum in his preparation.
He's always working. He's a guy that's in here grinding. Even after practice last week, we were in the offensive staff room watching the practice film, and I look out and there's one guy out there working on back pedals by himself, just going through and just having vision like, hey, boom, here I'm getting a pick, just acting like a football's out there and going through his operation. And I think that stuff's huge. I think a lot of it is a mindset thing of, visualization, of making those plays. And I think he does a hell of a job with his preparation and practice. And then when practice is done, he's always getting extra work in, so it's paying dividends.
Saw last night he Instagrammed doing the jugs machine in the driveway. Can you imagine being Cam Bynum's neighbor and you look over at like 9 o'clock at night and all of a sudden the strobe light from the garage is, shining and his wife's just pumping balls through the old jugs machine at him? He
has like a vlog that he does on his YouTube, and he posts so much. You think that like I'm chronically online or something, or your kids are. Cam Bynum, if he ain't playing football, that man is sharing his life with the world. And one of the clips that I saw was they had like an Amazon delivery driver pull up to their house to drop off something, and he's doing the jugs machine in the driveway, and he's asking the guy, oh, you want to get a couple cracks at it, this and that? And I'm like, this guy's probably thinking, I did not expect to be dropping a package off at one of the best players on the team's house. But on top of that, I might want to stick to what I'm doing for my day job because that jugs machine was zipping. I was thinking, man, but again, when you talk about visualizing what you want to do on the field, the joy he brings to it, the professionalism, I think he's all encompassing. And I mean, I think also as an individual player, Kevin, there is some rungs he kind of wants to get to that he hasn't gotten to yet, because for all of his great playmaking, he hasn't been a Pro Bowler. He hasn't been all pro. And those are things that I was sure he would want within the grand scheme of obviously winning.
You imagine being a little neighbor boy and all of a sudden begging your parent, can I go down there to Mr. Bynum's house and help him out with the old
just keep feeding
machine?
Footballs?
Yeah.
And he's nice enough that I think that he would actually
1,000%.
do it. Especially because he wants the extra reps.
Yeah. Colts Titans coming your way 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Our pregame begins at 10 here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. What we also hope will be taking place on Sunday is perhaps another Fever playoff game. They've got to win tonight. It's game 3 of a best-of-3 series. They're in Atlanta. But we've talked about the fact that, Kevin, we keep saying they're scrappy and resilient, but to your point, they have 2 of the best players in the WNBA. I mean, Kelsey Mitchell is going to be first team All-WNBA, I'm pretty sure, coming up here. She's already been named to one of the Wire's first team All-WNBA.
Yeah, Associated Press.
And Aaliyah Boston is as good a big man down in the post as anybody in the league.
Yeah, and we haven't gotten like the big Mitchell explosion in a few games. We haven't had the Boston 24-12 game in a little while. Even the other night, they both had nice games. But again, that element we know is in both of those players. Does it, happen tonight? And, certainly is one of the biggest games this franchise has had in quite some time. I mean, tonight the winner advances to the Final Four. That's period. That's what is at stake when you have just one 8-team bracket here in the postseason. And the Aces are going to play an elimination game themselves, against the Storm here coming up later tonight. The winners will play each other. So, yeah, what an opportunity for the Fever tonight. And again, Atlanta, I think, is going to feel some of that. And I'm a little surprised the line is as big as it is. 7.5 to me seems like a lot.
That does seem like a lot.
And I get that they ran away from me in game 1, but James Boyd, I just think the pressure is a little different tonight for the old Dream.
It is, but I think, to your point from earlier in the show, can you have that pressure increase as the game goes on? Because I think the way you start it will be big, because when you're a role player, you're at home, you're shooting shots, and there's not a lot of like, oh my God, like if I miss this shot, our season's over. You might shoot with a little less, tenseness. And when you look at what the Dream are able to do, they have players that can knock down shots, and that's one thing they just didn't do in game 2. They couldn't buy a bucket. I mean, even some of their open shots, they were just shooting bricks. And so who can make enough outside shots to give yourself a chance? And if you're the Fever, I think you want to make some outside shots to, one, stay in the game, but also take their crowd out of it a little bit and put them on edge. So it should be an exciting matchup, and it's everything you dream of as a kid. I was talking to Kelsey Mitchell about it after game 2. And I said, as a competitor, how much do you want this? And she looks at me like she's just, already in Atlanta, because she's like, yeah, one team's got to win, one team's got to lose. And, obviously she doesn't want it to be them. But she was already like, yeah, we got to move on to game 3. And I'm like, wait a second. You had your first, playoff win in 10 years, and she's already ready to move on.
All right, those are keys to the game brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Check out your next car at drivehubler.com, Indiana's giant automotive group. Mark Dykton.
Let's go to the phones real quick. Got a call. Rebecca wants to weigh in on some Colts Titans talk. Rebecca, go ahead.
Happy Thursday. Rebecca, are you there?
Oh.
Happy birthday, Dada.
Hi, Rosie girl. How you doing?
Good.
Are you driving to school?
No.
Where you going? Are you still at home?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. You guys don't have school today. I forgot about that. You want to go to the Children's Museum later?
Daddy, we're having no school today.
No school today. I love it. Nothing says no school like a random Thursday in September, doesn't it? Right, Rosie?
Mommy did.
I know. Mommy did. Well, I love you lots, and you did great at soccer practice last night, and I can't wait to take you to the Children's Museum later. And you want to do fettuccine Alfredo for dinner, Rosie?
Daddy,
Rosie says yes to fettuccine Alfredo, and Max has one more question.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, Max, I will take you as well, as long as you go potty on the toilet, okay?
Thanks.
Okay, say happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday, Dada.
All right, we love you. Happy
Love you.
birthday.
Thank you, Mads. Love you.
How cool was that?
Rebecca talking Titans. Don't know if we've had a lot of Rebeccas call in. Thank you, Mark Dykton.
Just for the record, she texted me.
I
was just going to ask who's texting who.
Wait a second. Using that number a little too frequently now.
It's allowed to text to celebrate your birthday,
Hey,
right?
It is.
You know
Okay.
what's
Mark,
funny
thank
is
you for
like,
that.
and obviously, I don't have kids, but it's just funny to hear kids say, "It's your birthday, happy birthday," and by the way, can you take me to the Children's Museum so I can have a great day on my day off? So
I know they have this weird professional development day. So
I also felt like
I think after the observation of Colts practice later today, I will be heading to the Children's Museum.
I love it. I also love the fact that it felt like the fettuccine Alfredo was very important to the adults on that phone conversation.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I think I told you guys this. When Rosie had her birthday in June, she was adamant. Shout out to, I believe, a commercial on our airwaves. She loves Pacini's. Loves
nice.
It. I mean, absolutely loves it. And shout out to the Pacini's there off of 86th Street. We have ventured there quite a lot. So, yes, I think tonight we'll keep it in-house and try to make some fettuccine Alfredo. But Rosie Bowen, big Pacini's fan.
I dig that. Happy birthday, Kevin Bowen, again. For those
Didn't know my
turn
eyes
on
would be
the radio,
watering
man.
outside of the old allergy medicine here on this Thursday morning. Thank you, Mark, for that.
That's outstanding.
That was all
stuff.
Maddie. I had nothing. I just put him on there.
you just called.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's Fan Morning Show, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. 36-year-old Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, Jeff Rickard, Mark Dykton, just trying to stay out of the crosshairs of everybody on the text
I was
chain.
going to drop
That's all.
everybody's age for a second. I was about to say, hey, I'm not 36 yet. 29 last year. I'm in 20s.
All right,
It's
sounds
coming
good.
to an end soon.
Starting to get some recognition. CBSSports.com, they do a power ranking of quarterbacks every week. Up 10 spots to number 16 is Daniel Jones under the heading of 2 games into his stint as the Colts starter. Indianapolis has yet to punt once. Sustainable? Maybe not, but he certainly looks more confident operating under Shane Steichen, electing also to push the ball downfield with solid accuracy. People starting to pay attention a little bit.
I have a question for you, Jeff.
Yeah.
So, we have our opinions about national media, and some days we come in here and you're like, man, they give us no respect, this team. Other days you come in and you're reading off how they are giving some respect. So
No, I said they're
how
starting
much
to
do you-
notice a
How
little
much
bit.
do you care? Because I feel like, at one hand, we're like, F them because they didn't pay attention to us to start the season. And then on the other hand, you're like, wait a second, now they're noticing. So
I think
how much should a Colts fan care?
I think it's a nice gauge for people who are not invested emotionally all the time to tell you what they're seeing and thinking. And sometimes you're waiting for them to catch up to whether a team is going really badly or a team is going really well. And I think that that's interesting to fans. That's where they get the clicks on. I mean, you see the clicks you get on stories for power rankings and stuff like that on The Athletic. People are invested emotionally in these teams, and they want to know, am I right for this? Oh, you're crazy that you don't think that. I think it's one of the great things about fandom is to argue whether or not your team is really that good.
I
It's
don't
what
know,
we do.
I don't know, Jeff. You sound kind of
what we do.
national right now, man. You got to pick a side. Does it matter or does it not?
Well, at the end of the day, of course it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what the players do on the field. But to fans, sometimes it matters.
All right. I'm
gonna
say, man, some days I'm like,
fans
man,
take these things personally.
All right, well,
and I get that.
CBS, we'll check back in with you next week.
I know the whole national.
I never know how much to care about it.
Yeah, the whole national.
Most local, like Rick Venturi, I think national guys drive him nuts sometimes because he doesn't feel that they truly watch enough of the games to have a real opinion.
And no one's watching more film than Rick.
Yeah.
Shout out to Coach.
The whole national. Like I'm always torn. Like some of these team media sites, it's like, when your team is doing well, you play all the clips from the national shows praising you. And then when you're not doing well, you obviously ignore them. But then when you win the one game where they all pick you to lose, then they play all the clips again. Look, and I'm like,
I can remember as a kid when as a young man, my late teens, early 20s, I can remember when my favorite teams would play really well, whether it was basketball, football, hockey, whatever. I couldn't wait to turn on SportsCenter and hear them talk about my team. And if they just got crushed, I didn't even watch SportsCenter that night.
Yeah, I get it. Like I understand. It's probably like, my fandom. I don't necessarily like need that. I don't think, but I understand why people want the bigger shows and the national audience to talk about their team. You feel amount of disrespect. I don't know. There's probably a little bit of like our market size and our state. Of you just naturally feel that. I tend to think some of it can be earned. Granted, mediocre Dallas Cowboys, mediocre New York teams, they probably get much more of listen to our show from 10 to noon.
Yeah.
Or listen to our station from 10 to noon. You get a lot more of that. But at the end of the day, Colts are 2-0 for the first time since 2009. And that's what really matters. And you have a golden opportunity on the road to stretch that to 3-0 and take a very strong grip on the AFC South in the month of September. And when is the last time we have said that about the NFL franchise? Again, guys, there's been more swim meets inside of Lucas Oil Stadium since there's been a home NFL playoff game. Swim meets inside of a football stadium. And right now, you're trending in direction to where you're finally going to have a home playoff game back there. A long way to go, but you're in position early in the season to play from ahead, to put pressure on other teams in the division, and that is not something we've said about the Colts in a long, long time.
In all fairness, though, I went to that swim meet. It was awesome.
No hating on the swim meet whatsoever. Outstanding
no
atmosphere.
Disrespect to rats.
Your NFL stadium is not supposed to be doing that more recently since hosting a Colts playoff game.
I went to that thing, and I was like, what is this going to be like? And I'm left going, that was really cool. So hopefully the Colts can be really cool and make another playoff appearance at Lucas Oil Stadium, but they got a long way to go. We'll talk more about that. Big lineup today. We're going to talk Fever at 8:30 with Scott Agnes. Matt Weaver from Pigs.com in to talk Illinois, Indiana. I know you've got some questions for him, James. And then at 9:30, Hammer's going to come in and give us the lowdown on where to put your dollars this week if you so choose to make a little wager here and there. It's all coming up in the next 2 hours at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
No disrespect to rats.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Happy Thursday. Welcome into the Fan Morning Show. James Boyd, Jeff Rickard, Kevin Bowen across the board. And then over on the other side is Mark Dykton there. We got Week 3 of the NFL coming up tonight. It'll be the Buffalo Bills hosting the Miami Dolphins. And for the Indianapolis Colts, they'll try to stay undefeated as they go on the road for a divisional opponent, the Tennessee Titans. And Kevin Bowen, the number 1 overall pick. First chance for the Colts to see what Cam Ward's all about. What do we know so far?
Mark, I missed the mayo plop in the coffee.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy.
Was that last year we did it? Or we got to go back to Levis's rookie year when we plopped it.
We did it ahead of the draft when we weren't sure if
Remember
it was
when
be...
he would just curdle to the top?
I know.
You
That
couldn't
was
even
disgusting.
see the coffee. The mayo chunks just sat right on the top.
What are you talking about?
Of the Joe.
You did this?
Yeah, we drank it.
Oh, yeah.
We drank the mayo and coffee.
And
Who
then
was we?
Me, Kevin, and Jake.
Yeah, and Jake, it looked like...
Jake wussed out.
I think it was kind of when he faked COVID. Remember when he faked COVID to get out of the shrimp eating contest? I think he was doing that.
So we did that ahead of
so
the...
many questions.
We
James,
did
when Will Levis started against the Colts, we said we would mayo plop the coffee if the Colts drafted him.
Mm-hmm. And heading into the draft, it was looking at all indications like he was going to fall to the Colts and they were going to take him.
Right, now, but they didn't draft him. So
Correct.
How did you end up drinking
we
it?
shifted it to if and when Will Levis started against the Colts, which, Mark, I think he started twice. Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like they wanted to have mayo in
We
their
That's
coffee.
what I'm hearing,
Mark,
Jeff.
I mean, you should have seen the jar of mayo Mark brought in. I mean, this thing
that was
was
disgusting.
This thing was 128 ounces. One more time. And that's not amplified.
No, that was from that was a legit natural mayo plop sound. That was Kevin's scoop going into his coffee.
That was the spoon just going right in
Is
there.
is it just as disgusting as it sounds?
It was
pretty gross.
Absolutely
It curdled instantly. You got the vinegar taste.
So thankful
good.
that Cam Ward is now starting, I guess, is what
So
we're
basically,
getting at.
that's what the Colts should hope that the Titans taste and feel after Sunday's game.
Very nice transition there.
If the Titans win, would you guys be willing to do it again?
No. Will Levis is on IR, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's
out for the
He's
year.
dead to me. According to Mark Dykton, he's Robert Redford after what Mark said earlier in the show. If anyone wants
it's only
to
if
go
he
back
starts,
and look at that audio.
It's only if he starts against the Colts. That's when we have to do it.
Okay.
Now, we should bring up availability-wise because James Boyd today at practice, just to get everybody up to date on where the Colts stand injury-wise. Good news defensively. Mooney Ward, blue jersey, yesterday in practice. So Travarius Ward has progressed pretty deep into that concussion protocol. So looking good for him as long as there's no steps back. Latu was limited, so at least he participated. We'll see how the rest of the week goes for him. But James, observing practice yesterday, 2 key Colts.
Yes, Tyler Warren not practicing due to a toe injury, and Josh Downs not practicing due to an ankle injury. Now, as I said in the first hour, I am not ready to hit the panic button just yet. I feel like when most players are just a little dinged up, they'll miss that Wednesday practice, and then you look at the Thursday and Friday practices as as you kind of detailed in the first hour, Kevin, like the bigger chunks of your work week, the bigger chunk of your grade. And so, if you're looking to pass the class, pass the course, pass through practice, I think today and tomorrow are bigger indicators of how you're feeling versus the Wednesday practice. Now, I don't know if it was a good sign that we saw them out there during practice, but I tried to read too much into it, so I'm not panicking just yet. Just got to see what happens later today.
And just to remind everybody, James, I don't think I've seen Warren miss an NFL practice yet. I'm talking camp or even the spring.
No, this was the first one that he missed.
So pretty rare to see him watching at all. He did play 66 snaps on Sunday, which for those unfamiliar, that is a massive number for an NFL tight end.
And he only played 70 plays overall.
Correct. So he barely sat out.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest numbers a Colts tight end has played ever. I believe Trey McBride, the Arizona tight end, played 68 in a game last year. That was it for any NFL tight end last year. So, definitely something worth monitoring. I will bring up one more time my poor college analogy to how I look at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday practices. I kind of treat the injury report like a college course that has 3 assignments the whole semester. I call the Wednesday practice 10% of your semester grade, a.k.a. you can James Boyd it and not show up to class and still overcome that. The Thursday practice, I'd call 30% of your semester grade. I'd call the Friday practice 60%. If you don't show up Friday, boom, you might as well just try to gamble your way through college.
Has Professor Bowen ever failed a kid?
I think I might have had one.
He's taking too long to answer. The answer is yes.
Yeah, this will be year 7 coming up, so a lot of the years start to run together. I think we had one. Just never showed up.
Yeah.
And I mean,
See,
I'm sorry.
I like to clear my name a little bit.
The class starts at noon. If you can't show up, what the hell are you doing?
Let me clear my name. If you're listening, I went to every class. However, I just didn't show up on time to every class. I was a little late.
Sounds like our radio show.
Hey, you know what? I was on time today and yesterday, for that matter. I gave you all a nice little tease, and I'm glad to report back that everyone showed up on time today. Great job, man.
Awesome. That's great. Kevin, getting back to your Wednesday, Thursday, Friday thing, I agree with that 100%. Also, for people who don't pay close attention, Wednesday's kind of the day they start to install the game plan. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. Thursday, they really work on it. And Friday, it's like polishing it up, perfecting it, getting out there. And so if a guy is hurt and misses Wednesday, Thursday, as you say, but he gets back when everything's coming together and they're putting the finishing touches on Friday, fits in well, things are good to go.
And one more thing on Tyler Warren, toe, Josh Downs, ankle, also observed practice yesterday. They both play positions where you could pitch count it. Like, you don't have to play Tyler Warren 66 snaps. Sure, you would like to, but James, go back to the game in Germany 2 years ago. Josh Downs only played on third down in that game. He was limited and didn't practice a lot that week. They travel overseas. Josh Downs told us this story on the show one year at training camp. He was like, I thought very little chance I was going to play in the game. They ended up kind of formulating a plan saying, all right, man, when we get to third down, could we play you? And they found out that they could. And remember that game?
He had
Josh
a huge
Downs
catch.
makes the play of the game to ice the game. Gardner Minshew throws one a little bit, looks like it's going to be too far. Downs goes full extension, makes the play to ice that game in Frankfurt. So, with Warren, I'd take Tyler Warren on third down coming up on Sunday. I mean, if you have to pitch count them, those guys play positions and certainly play receiving roles that you could be limited with them. So we'll continue to monitor as the week moves along.
Kickoff 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, and our pregame show starts at 10 here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Mark, as always, especially on KB's birthday, very curious today.
He's got questions.
How about a game?
They've got answers.
Hey, I'm more of a cornhole man myself.
Sports, music, movies.
What?
High fashion.
That Hansel's so hot right now.
And everything in between.
You ever seen a foot with 4 toes?
It's time to get a glimpse into the mind of Mark Dykton.
Stop it, you're scaring me.
It's time for I Gotta Know.
Okay, you punks, I want a good, clean fight. Let's get it on.
All right, we're staying on Colts topics since that's where we're at. Through 2 games, the biggest strength of the Colts and the biggest weakness through 2 weeks.
KB?
Boy, for strength. I mean, if you're purely evaluating 2 weeks right now, it's been the quarterback play. I'll probably go pass protection, though. Just given what Denver is capable of doing from a pass rush standpoint, I'll go there. Biggest weakness, I'd say playmaking in the front 7. I can't think of one notable play the front 7 has done outside of maybe Buckner here in the first couple
weeks.
weeks.
Yeah, and Laiatu pick, I guess.
Right, but, I mean, that was 15 yards down the field.
Yeah.
I mean, like, pass rush, run defense, those elements.
I agree.
I am going to go the running game. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's the reigning AFC Player of the Week, and that offensive line has been getting it done. It's all working. You give him a corner, and it is off to the races, whether it's off a swing pass, whether it's off just a little jart through the off tackle there. He is good to go. And for me, the weakness probably game management. That's something that's really got to improve for Shane Steichen. Some great play calls, but man, that game management, especially at the end of that Tennessee Titans game, that left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, that was against the Broncos, but yes, a very weird ending. And then I would go Tyler Warren. I don't think this offense looks as good as it does without his arrival. He has been their number one option, one of the best tight ends, one of the best players, quite frankly, in the NFL through the first 2 weeks. And biggest weakness, I would say run defense. And I know some of that is skewed because of how they defended the Dolphins. You don't want them to beat you over the top, so you give up some of the runs in a sense. But the fact that the Broncos are able to run it as well as they did against you is a bit concerning to me, and it's something to keep an eye on because I don't think that this defense, particularly in the middle of the field, has been all that great.
Mark?
All right. Let's move on. Matt dropped off, but he was nervous about Sunday's game against the Titans. What are the reasons Matt has to be concerned with the Titans? I know the Titans aren't a great team right now, but why would you say, okay, I could see why he would be nervous?
I mean, Cam Ward can do backyard type stuff. You know, I thought one of the pretty special plays from Sunday was Bo Nix extending that play to his left. I assumed he was throwing it away. Next thing you know, he got Kenny Moore, of all people, down the field on the 40-yard gain to Marvin Mims. Like, again, if Cam Ward makes 3 or 4, I'm not even talking about the touchdown he had last week. That was just, frankly, it was probably stupid, but it was unreal. If he makes 3 or 4 of those off script, I'm dancing around, boom, plays, then maybe you're looking at it be a little more of a actual football game.
It's not a very good football team, but they have 53 guys that are all good enough to play in the National Football League, and the saying goes, on any given Sunday, if the Colts just show up and do their jobs, they should be fine against the Titans. Just don't turn the ball over. Take care of the football. They'll win this game easily.
James.
Boy, the start of that sounded so much like a coach.
I was going to say, beyond the, they lace up their shoes just like us.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go Tony Pollard. He has created 20 missed tackles this year, and I feel like he's somebody who, if you do not contain him, he could offset some of the pressure you put on Cam Ward. And if they have any semblance of a balanced offense, that bodes well for their young quarterback to make some plays later in the game. And then on top of that, if you look at L'Jarius Sneed, one of their cornerbacks, he's been pretty good in one-on-one coverage, particularly on the outside. So could he be somebody that takes away Alec Pierce? And if he does, what does that mean for the rest of your group? So just two things to keep an eye on with the Titans that could give you a little trepidation.
Is he a little banged up, Sneed? I think he's a little...
Yeah, he did not practice yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have been in plenty of press boxes, big-time events with big-time athletes, owners, celebrities, all that stuff. Who's the most famous person you've shared a bathroom with?
Shared a bathroom with? That's a wild question. I'm trying to think.
Gosh, I don't know about the bathroom part, Mark. I try to keep my eyes just glued to the, on the prize there when I'm in there. I know my dad has shared a story where they went out for their anniversary one time, and I forget where it was, actually, somewhere in Indianapolis, and the Colts were playing the Raiders the next day, and he shared a bathroom with Al Davis.
Oh,
there you go.
Boy, that could be fascinating.
That I would agree on that. I don't know on the bathroom part, Mark. Yeah.
Okay, let's go. How about this? Who's the most favorite person that you shared a room with? Let's not go urinals. Let's go
I got a
bathroom.
few of those.
Yeah, I got all kinds of both stories. So,
well, let's hear them.
Probably some form of Peyton, LeBron, Caitlin Clark. Yeah, probably there.
As far as bathroom stories, my first one ever, the late, great Chick Hearn, the longtime play-by-play voice of the Lakers.
Jeff, I feel like Jeff's ready to go here. He might have 5 minutes of him.
This is where I've just been around a long time is all it is. I was doing my first year in the WNBA, and they were playing the Sparks, and it was the old form because even though that the new arena had come, for the first year or two, that's where the Sparks played. So I'm getting ready for the game. It's probably an hour before the game. I go and do my thing, and all of a sudden Chick Hearn walks in, takes the urinal right beside me, and starts asking me questions about the team.
Oh.
I was like, okay, here we go. And the other one, not too long ago, in a big game here with the Pacers a couple years ago, when they were playing the Boston Celtics, Mark Wahlberg and I are next to each other at the urinal over here
Diggler.
at the field house. And as far as Al Davis is concerned, did a Monday Night Football game in Denver one time, and he used to sit in the press box. He didn't sit in the owner's box. He would sit in the press box. And he sat right across. I was on the end of the aisle, and to the left of me on the other, when there was a little break, little stairs that go down between the countertops there. Al Davis was right next to me across the aisle, and the guy was crazy. He referred to very, very colorful language for the entire game, did not keep his voice down to himself. You knew what he was thinking at all times, and only referred to his players by their number. Get blinking 24 out of there already. Quite an experience.
Look at that. That was good bathroom talk there. James, did you have one or not really?
Yeah, I would say Chris Ballard. It happens probably a couple times a year when we go on the road. You hit the halftime bathroom trip, and there's often a lot of Colts coaches, analysts, whoever's in the press box, usually in the bathroom. And then as far as just people I've met in general.
And James, he's all business when he's in there.
Yeah, he is all business. I don't ever say anything to him or really anybody else on the Colts staff besides saying, like, what's up or, I'm walking out, you're coming in type of thing. That's about it. But, yeah, I'm not sitting there waiting for any analysis from Chris Ballard on the game. And usually –
So, about that 3rd and 7.
Yeah, I heard per sources, this is going on with the team. Now is not the time when you're mid-game because Chris Ballard has said himself he is more a fan than anything on game day. And as far as people I've met or been in the same room with, I think I told you all the Serena Williams story from last year or earlier this year, rather, at the owners' meetings
down
in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
this is great.
You go down and they were at some very fancy hotel. I even forget the name of it, but it was
the Breakers.
The Breakers, and I looked up how much it would cost to stay there, and it was something wild, like maybe $1,500 a night on like the cheaper end, and it was crazy. And so they had a lot of their activities and stuff there. I did not stay there, but they had a party there for the media and for pretty much anybody else on the NFL side. Do it every year. And so I arrive, I get my food, and they're moving us inside because of the weather. And I ask this woman who's standing in front of me, excuse me, because I'm trying to make sure I don't, spill food on her and get around her. Turns around and it's Serena Williams. And I go to myself, like in my head, oh, excuse you, James. Like, why did you just ask Serena Williams to move? Very nice, very gracious, but that was crazy. I saw her. Vince Carter was at an NFL owners meeting a couple years ago. I believe he's a minority owner for one of these teams. And then probably the coolest one.
Is he really?
I think he is, actually.
I had no idea.
And then Dr. J, All-Star Weekend a couple years ago in Indianapolis. I got on the elevator to go up from like the event floor, which is the court level, to my media seat. And I get on the elevator, and Dr. J is on the elevator. And I remember I had a plate of nachos, and Dr. J on his purple suit, very fresh. That man is sharp still to this day. And as he's getting off the elevator at our next stop, I'm trying to like leave, and the security guy like kind of sticks his arm out. He looks at me. He's like, "You don't want to get nacho cheese on Dr. J." So I waited until Dr. J and his crew kind of left. But he got stopped everywhere he went because it's Dr. J. And when you're that famous and that good at playing basketball, a lot of people want to meet you.
Did you talk to Marky Mark in the bathroom, Jeff?
No, but we did the guy like head nod thing.
Okay,
that was about it. What was I going to say?
I don't know. You could have said, "Hey, Marky Mark, loved you in Boogie Nights." I don't know. I feel like if you share a bathroom, by the way, with like Chris Ballard or something, there's like a 3rd and inches joke you can make if you're in the bathroom with any NFL owner.
See, no,
GM.
I can't. I feel like that would lead to some problematic things.
You know what?
I will get my credential revoked immediately.
I'm gonna correct myself. It was Donnie. It was not Mark.
Oh, well, that's a huge difference.
Well, Donnie, he was a big TV star. He was a big TV star on the police one there. Married to Jenny McCarthy. Come on.
We just listened to Jeff lie to us for 2 minutes on these airwaves.
I corrected myself. Because when you said Marky Mark, I was like, no, it wasn't Marky Mark. It was
Donnie. 2 more. This one is pretty easy. Fever win tonight, or is the season over?
I think they're going to win tonight. I think they keep rolling what they had the other night.
James just made.
I'm trying to think. I'm going to say they lose tonight just because it's hard to win when you have so much attrition to your roster. And I do think that even as badly as Atlanta played, they were in that game in the 3rd quarter until they had just some boneheaded plays. So I'm going to say the Fever bow out tonight in a close loss.
Boy, part of me wants to drum up a little Kelsey Mitchell magic late, especially how last year ended in that game 2 in Connecticut. I would definitely take the Fever and the points. 7.5 to me seems like a big number. Sure, I'll go Fever. I'll say Kelsey Mitchell as will take over in the final 2 minutes.
I'll say Fever survive as well. Okay, last but not least, as always, what are we watching? Ashley and I are watching The Studio. It won 1 billion awards at the Emmys this past weekend for best comedy and all that stuff. We are halfway through the season. It is outstanding. It is very, very funny. It's Seth Rogen and just 1 million celebrities and stuff about him running a studio in Hollywood and all that stuff. It is very, very funny. I can't recommend it more highly.
James Boyd's got us. Watch The Unknown Number, right? On Netflix.
Yes, that was nuts. It's a documentary. Did you watch it, Kevin?
It is on the agenda.
Yeah, it is quite bizarre. So if you're into documentaries, true crime, that sort of thing.
Netflix, right?
Yes, go check that out. And then I am currently watched the 2nd episode of Task on HBO, new drama series featuring Mark Ruffalo, a.k.a. The Hulk. So
that looks good.
It's very good so far.
Yeah. Marty spent some time in the drug cartel king's dungeon last night. That's where I'm at in Ozark.
Okay.
Marty got roughed up a little bit and loud music, bright lights, but he's back home now.
Boy, you're getting into the juicy stuff. You're nearing the end there.
Getting close to the middle of season 3. Is
One season left after that then.
But I'm looking forward to the Task. I think that's going to be a fun one to watch.
Great show.
Yeah, I want to watch that one as well.
Where are you at?
Like I said, the studio is on Apple TV or Apple Plus, whatever you want to call it. So that's where you can find that one. But that's a very good show. If you just need, it's a light 30 minutes too. In and out. All these shows are an hour usually. The studio is 30 minutes and you're out. Nice light breezy comedy.
All right, let's do a quick check down and then we'll get to Scott Agnes talking Fever in just a moment here.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Indiana Fever Game 3 of their best-of-3 series in the first round against the Atlanta Dream comes your way tonight, 7:30 tip time, airtime 7:15 with Eddie Garrison right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Colts get ready for another week of football, week 3. On Sunday afternoon, they'll take on the Tennessee Titans in Nashville, 1 o'clock kick, 10 o'clock pregame. Also here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Later on tonight, NFL Week 3 kicks off. The Miami Dolphins play at the Buffalo Bills. Looking forward to college football this weekend. Purdue plays at Notre Dame. The big game, Illinois at Indiana. Ball State at Connecticut. Indiana State will play at Montana. Major League Baseball last night. We saw the Cincinnati Reds still staying alive, guys. Beat the St. Louis Cardinals 6-2. The Cubs 8-4 winners over the Pirates.
Clinched.
It was yes, they did clinch the Central. They've been playing good baseball lately.
No,
too.
Clinched the Central. Clinched a wild card.
A wild card. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm getting ahead of myself there. The Brewers long ago clinched the Central.
No, they haven't clinched yet either. The Cubs are still on their tails.
No, if you're going to tell me the Reds are dead, I'm just going to tell you the Brewers are clinching.
Well, in all likelihood they are, but they have not yet.
Just trying to get you worked up, Mark.
I'm good.
Also, we had the White Sox losing to the Baltimore Orioles by a score of 3-1. Indianapolis Indians got shut out by the Gwinnett Stripers 5-0. They will play again tonight at 7:05. Anything else you guys want to throw in before we head to break?
I got nothing.
All right. Scott Agnes talking Fever basketball next on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Game 3 of the Indiana Fever's first-round playoff series against the Atlanta Dream comes your way tonight in Atlanta. You can listen to it live at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. You can probably watch it on TV too, Kevin. There's a lot of people like to do that. I like to do that too. But I don't mind listening to John and Bria. They do a great job. And Amanda's been covering the Fever for quite a while now and has been documenting every step of their playoff run and season so far. Joins us on the Payless Liquors hotline. Good morning, Scott Agnes. Welcome to the party. How you doing today?
Hey, good to be here.
So game 3 tonight, I'm optimistic on this one. It's going to be tough, no question. Home team has held home court for the first 2 games. What do you see happening this evening?
Yeah, I think so much of it, Jeff, depends on how this game, what's the flow, what's the rhythm, and how is it officiated. I think that is the most dependent thing when it comes down to it, because that really helps dictate the terms here. Now, on the other side, maybe it's as simple as whichever team is making shots, because that's also been the case in the first couple of games. But I would expect Atlanta to bounce back, to shoot it better. I'm just very curious how tightly it is whistled, because that'll obviously favor the Dream if they're calling a lot more and not letting them play as much.
We have Scott Agnes join us on the Payless Liquors hotline. He covers the Fever and the Pacers and a lot of hoops in general over at Fieldhouse Files. And I must say, for those listening, Scott Agnes was clean the other night for the Fever game. I mean, he was
crisp.
suited.
He looked crisp?
Suited and booted. I mean, I was thinking, did he just walk out of a magazine? It was beautiful to watch, honestly. So, Scott, congratulations on just looking great.
Thank you for carrying the weight for the media wardrobe.
Exactly. Because I came with like an iron T-shirt, and I thought that I was doing pretty good. So, on a more serious note, Scott, hearing what you just said about physicality, how much do you think Aaliyah Boston is a big factor in that? Because I felt like in game 1, there were some calls made where it's like, man, you really take her out of her rhythm early. And then it kind of got a little bit hairy in game 2, but she was able to kind of survive that. So how much do you think she needs to be aware of the physicality and how it's officiated early on?
Yeah, first of all, appreciate that, James. But, yeah, I think it's significant here on this front. And I thought it was really telling to me in the third quarter. Things were getting a little choppy for the Fever. They turned it over on a couple possessions. And then to me, it was one of those moments where Aaliyah, not even a veteran player, right, just year 3, but it felt like more of a veteran move where she read the situation, knew it was going to be tough, but said, all right, I'm going to take it into my own hands. It's got to be me. It's got to be Kelsey. One of us has to do it. And so she had the ball, like, top of the arc and drove to the basket a couple times and scored 2 or 3 possessions in a row and really got it going there. And I think her having 15 points and being physical, I think she's more of a finesse player underneath, but she can be physical. And I thought she was a lot more physical in game 2. And a lot of what the Dream are doing, or they're swarming her, they're sending 2 on her or whoever's at the rim, making it incredibly difficult. But the officials are letting her be physical back. She was playing through that contact and somehow maneuvering to score those difficult layups. So no, I think after behind Kelsey, she's absolutely the next factor for the Fever to get it done tonight.
Scott, you were there game 1. Are we in that smaller arena again tonight?
Yes.
What was the atmosphere like in game 1?
I would best describe it, Kevin, as more as like entertainment type venue. And what I mean by that is, like, I was disappointed in that how little was regarded to basketball. Like, at least, like, during Fever timeouts, they might be, like, get to know this player, or here's a thank you video for the fans. They would, like, turn down the lights and turn up the music. It felt much more like a club atmosphere. I don't know. I was not a fan of it when you're playing a pivotal playoff game. But it was a late arriving crowd, but once they got there, very loud, very impactful. It's about 3,800 seats, and I would say almost all of them were filled by the middle of the first quarter.
Oh, maybe a late arriving crowd, maybe a little Magic City action on a Sunday. I don't know if they
Lemon Pepper Lou wings.
I don't know if they serve a
Scott
buffet.
Agnes, I need you to
there.
report back, from Magic City. Just let me know how those wings taste.
Boots on the ground reporting on Fieldhouse Files.
By the way, they did not They did not. I did not go to Magic City, but they do sell lemon pepper wings at the arena.
Oh, okay. I love Atlanta.
Just don't get it all over those threads. You'll be okay.
Man, excellent there. Scott, you kind of hit on this in the first two, but like one little box score stat. Like if you could circle one thing right now in the box score tonight for the Fever to get it done, what would you circle?
I think 3-point shooting, because that's an indicator of how well the team has some balance, how they're able to go inside out. And that's really been the difference, I would say. From a simplistic form, it's got to be 3-point shooting. What about you?
Yeah, I look there. Second chance points, I would probably come back to again. I think when you get in games like this, like I thought game 2 was real sloppy, Scott. And so when you get into those moments, it's extra possessions. And obviously we saw in the Pacers run, the possession battle meant a whole lot. So I would agree on 3-point shooting and just the differential there, especially game 1. I want to say the Fever were like 2 of 15 from behind the arc, but I'd also go with second chance points.
Scott,
I like that one. Turnovers aren't exactly indicative of it. Neither are points in the paint. You could throw in free throw shooting in what could be a very close game, but to me, if the Fever can knock down a handful of threes, that gives them more balance to have then more production inside and make things even more difficult for the Dream. So that's why I went with that one.
All right. Looking forward to getting maybe an Aerial Powers chest bump before it's over tonight.
Yeah, it'd be number 4 on the season, Stephanie White was saying after the game. She was like, yeah, it makes me realize how much older I am when I absorb that hit. Because mostly it came out of nowhere, I think. It's not exactly choreographed, but that was a fun moment, I think, for this team, and it's those little moments. Given the fact, Jeff, that she's been with the team 3 weeks and that she has already embraced a role. Hadn't been perfect, and that's fine, but she's been the Energizer bunny off the bench, and they've needed it with a group that has 6 players. I think this is the telltale of the series. You get the game notes, Jeff, before every game, and it says Fever, 6 players listed under players that are unavailable. For the Dream, none to report. And yet here we are in a pivotal game 3.
Scott, to kind of piggyback off your last comment regarding Aerial Powers, I'm not saying she's the same player as Lance Stevenson, but it gives me those vibes. So what has that meant to the team? Because there are times where I'm like, is she this close to being off the rails completely, or is that a good thing? You know what I mean? Like she's, for example, the other night we're watching the game, and I see during a timeout, she's over waving the crowd on. She's hyping up the crowd. She's flexing. And like Lexi Hull has to go get her and say, hey, we got a huddle to go back to. You can't just live out here. So what has been that balance of energy, passion, and what has that meant to this group that obviously needs a little bit more of that?
Yeah, significant. I would say to me right away, I thought about she's doing a lot of what Caitlin and Lexi normally would do. Caitlin, you can't really do that as much for the Benson. Lexi thrusted in that much different role where she's got to be exhausted out there. She's playing more minutes than anyone, so she can't be that energizer nearly as much, right, when she's playing 35 minutes instead of 24. And there was a couple of games, I agree, where I was like, all right, Ariel, tone it down, just get back to the huddle. Or, hey, you just fouled twice in a row. Let's focus. Let's get a focus there and not just be the energy person. But for a player that is just so new to the team, and I got to imagine just saying, not only do I need to carve out, I'm trying to earn my way back to the league, but I want to carve out a spot on this team. I think she noticed a void here, and she's naturally an outgoing, fun, enjoyable player. So I think she's just riding the wave as well, and that's been important.
Last one I have for you, Scott, before we let you go. I know, again, you cover the Fever and the Pacers for Fieldhouse Files, and so pivoting to the Pacers, just briefly here, we see that they're doing like another unofficial preseason camp with Pascal Siakam and others kind of bringing everybody together. I see Jay Huff is already with the crew. And I saw some of the videos posted, and, of course, I saw Benedict Mathurin talking trash. Yep. And I saw the Andrew Nembhard, like Thanos shoulder bump already being used on Jay Huff. And between those two guys, who do you think will be looked at to have a more pivotal year for the Pacers? Is it Andrew Nembhard stepping into that lead guard role without Tyrese Halliburton? Or is it Mathurin trying to figure out what his role can be for this team and trying to play within the schemes of this offense?
Yeah, I think it's Mathurin, the latter there. First of all, those are my 2 big takeaways as well entirely. Is here Jay Huff's getting the Mathurin trash talk. Hope he doesn't take it personal. And then, my goodness, that Nembhard shoulder is deadly. Like I was like, that is a pro move right now.
Yeah.
And he's in just year 4. But no, we know what Nembhard can at least be, and we know he can take it to another level. And he's already a established, productive player. So all of us, I think, are sitting back knowing, hey, look, there's a void in the starting lineup. There's more minutes out there. And by the way, Matherin, you're going off your rookie scale contract after this season. And so I think we all expect a lot more from him. A couple of years ago, it was obviously shortened due to that shoulder injury, unable to play in the playoffs. But I think there's a ton that he can give. He obviously provides that competitive drive, much like Halliburton has as well. But you need well-rounded contributions from him every single game this upcoming season. So to me, that's the number 2 question mark behind how do they handle this center position.
Always good to hear your voice, Scott. Have fun. Game 3 tonight, and we'll see if the season continues. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thank you, guys.
There you go. Thursday night at Magic City, that place could be bumping if you're celebrating a series win here.
Especially if you're Aerial Powers, man.
Well,
let's go.
Scott posted up in there. If he's looking as crisp as James described him after game 2, man.
was dapper. Very
you were
clean.
Impressed. Those polls might be going over to Scott.
I've seen you all dressed up. You do a good job, too.
Yeah, but that's very rare for me to get dressed up. I only get dressed up if I go overseas. And so
Germany.
I will wear a suit when I'm in Germany.
Must cross ocean.
Well, yes, to be dressed up. Exactly. I only wear a belt once a week, and that's on game days.
Yeah. You going to dress up tonight for a birthday dinner?
I will not.
What? No?
I will not. Not at all. I'm
Not for
legit.
your
That whole James saying he wears a belt once a week, that sounds awesome.
You know what's hilarious is I could get
I'll be
a
in
laugh out of
sweatpants
you.
tonight.
Like I couldn't imagine Kevin getting dressed up to go to the Children's Museum and then eating fettuccine Alfredo pasta.
You can't get fettuccine Alfredo on some nice
Hell
clothes.
no. And honestly, the Children's Museum, that's one of the more establishments. You see a lot of things in terms of wardrobe there. That's a great people watching place.
Well, you know this is so weird.
And you got to hoop outside. I can't be hooping in nice clothes.
This is true. I love playing there, actually. I remember Kenny Moore had an event there a couple years ago, and I stayed until the very end to shoot with some random kid because it was just fun. But also, that is like the only place in the city where Reggie Miller has his statue. And Tamika Catchings has her statue. And so I need the folks over at Pacer Sports and Entertainment to get that done for me. You know, we need a bigger, better memorial for our legends of those franchises.
Slick's over there, too.
Slick is over there as well.
The sports area of the Children's Museum is one of the greatest things our city has. I mean, like, even if you are a big kid, it is awesome. So
you learn a lot, seriously, from there.
I can't wait to be there today.
Every time I'm driving home on Illinois, I just want to pull the car over and go play. Every single time. Probably
get a membership and you can.
We had many, many years when we had the membership.
Just hop the gate then. Do you know who I am? I'm Jeff Rickard. I'm shooting some ball.
That's why
right
I keep
now.
driving.
Oh my goodness.
Mark Dykton. You can do that. You can pull the Mark Dykton card.
I have a membership, yeah.
Okay.
Flash the card and I just walk right in.
All right. Coming up next, we'll talk a little bit more about perhaps a major change in the way college football operates. So we'll get some thoughts on that and get back to the Colts getting ready for the Titans as we continue next. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good morning and welcome into the Fan Morning Show for James Boyd, Kevin Bowen. I'm Jeff Rickard and Mark Dykton getting his thing done on the other side. Guys, if you're a college football player, the transfer window just got a lot shorter, and there's only going to be one of them instead of two moving forward. Used to be able to get it done right at the end of the season, the first week and a half or so of January, and then you could do it during the spring as well. They've eliminated the spring portal window, and now it looks like you're going to have about 12 days from January 1st through like the 12th. Maybe it's the 3rd through the 12th. I think it's 9 days now. And the only exception would be if you're playing in the national championship, you get 4 more days after your game is over. But this is probably a big win for programs. They don't have to worry about losing guys right after spring practice, Kevin, and it just makes it much shorter. You know what you're going to have moving forward. Kids have to make up their mind before spring practice. In other words, they have a bad spring practice, and our second string, all of a sudden, they can't just bolt for another program.
I've asked for some guardrails. I've kind of described college athletics, particularly portal, NIL, group them all together, kind of driving on a Texas highway. And it's like, I'm not asking you to be on Carmel roundabouts, but just give me some guardrails. And I think this is a step in that direction. And I particularly love the college football playoff element. Last year we saw the Penn State backup quarterback, he transferred, during that time of year. Remember, I know I said it on air, I was super complimentary of Taven Jackson. He easily could have done that at IU, but he stayed there, and obviously their playoff run only lasted a game, but still, he stayed at a time where you easily could have transferred there. So yeah, that makes total sense to me.
Yeah, James, final numbers. Initially, the proposal from the FBS Oversight Committee had the winter portal that's going to open on January 2nd, close on the 11th or 12th, but they're going to take a look at that timing and have a final ruling in October. But it used to drive me, just as a fan, crazy when kids would go have a spring practice and maybe it didn't go as well as they wanted, and all of a sudden after spring practice is over, like, yeah, I'm gone. I'm going to go somewhere else.
Well, unless you're able to make a transfer before Saturday's game, if IU that is, against Illinois, I'm not too concerned about it.
You are that confident Saturday, huh?
He's got Illinois by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I have him by 2 scores.
How many are you going to get? How many points are you going to give me?
You could bet a good amount of money. That could be a very profitable bet. Isn't it like a 4.5 line, 5.5 line?
Hit James DMs and make your money.
I told you I do my bets in person, so it's much better to gloat that way. I am team. You gotta shake a hand. You gotta get the medicine, and by medicine I mean the trash talk, all of that. If you win the bet, if you lose,
man, I cannot wait for Saturday night. I can't wait. And it's Kurt Cignetti has mentioned this, as much of swagger and as much of public. I'm gonna talk my what that Kurt Cignetti has done. I think at times he has admitted, after last season, hey, when Ohio State showed up and when Notre Dame showed up, we looked a little varsity JV. So not to say Illinois is in that breath yet. I mean, according to James, with the 72 Dolphins, but whether it's Illinois Saturday, whether it's Oregon and Penn State down the road, these are kind of those games where the Indiana story last year is one of the best stories college football's ever seen. Now it's hey, are you legit in terms of a top 10, top 15 college football?
The number has climbed again. It's 6.5 now. It
Really?
started at 4.5.
I mean,
it's because James is talking it up.
The plus money you could get on that if James Boyd thinks Illinois is winning by 2
James
scores.
Influence right there.
It should be. I can't wait for
So
this
that
game.
line is increasing. Notre Dame Purdue is decreasing. I saw Notre Dame Purdue went down quite a bit. I think it was like 24 last I saw in that one there. So, boy, I just can't wait again. I know the secondary ticket market is through the roof in Bloomington for Saturday, but that college, one of the best college towns out there, one of the great party towns out there, you give them a night college football game, 2 top 20 teams. You got to go back to 1987. I wasn't even born the last time you had a top 20 football matchup.
Is that Mallory?
In the city of Bloomington.
Was he the coach?
Yeah, I would assume.
I mean, if you just reverse the if you do an alternate spread and you take Illinois minus the 6.5, it's plus 330.
James has $100 to win 330.
I don't need that. I need to be able to, again, the people in
I
my
don't
life.
need that. I'm good.
I need
the
the people
Athletic
in my
and Radio
life.
One's paying me so much.
Hey, I ain't hurting now. I've always been honest about that. life is okay. But I'm just letting you know, if I lose a bet, I got to be able to, face the music.
All right.
I do like Illinois' quarterback, Altmaier.
Jokes aside, I think the reason why obviously I'm this my alma mater, so I'll roll with them. But the reason why they've been good is because they haven't had a lot of turnover. Like unlike a lot of top teams, same quarterback for the last 3 years, same defensive coordinator for the last few years, same head coach. Like there just hasn't been a lot of turnover for that team, and I think that's rare in college sports, which is why they're building something pretty special there in Champaign. So we're gonna, show you what a real program looks like come Saturday night.
At least you're sticking up for the alma mater. I respect that.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm a front runner. As soon as they, give me any reason why I shouldn't stick up for them, I might have some reconsideration.
So
you might have people driving down 65 to meet you on Broadway come Saturday
I know.
night.
So if the Hoosiers have like a 13-6 lead at halftime, you just gonna bolt and change sides or what?
Nah, I'm talking trash till the very end.
Well, you just said you're a front runner. So
Yeah, I'm a front runner until the end of the game.
okay,
Yeah.
just checking to make sure. I wanted to know how quickly you.
I will say though, as much loyalty as I have to Illinois, I don't have any co-eds come and stay at my place anytime soon. No freebies around here.
You just aren't gonna let that go, are you? I'm self-editing right now, is what I'm doing, because I see Mark over there just waiting on the button. Just gonna let that one go, James Boyd. I'll tell you what we will do though. We'll take a deeper look into the Indiana-Illinois matchup coming up in just a second as we check in with our Peegs.com reporter Matt Weaver. He's going to give us the latest on the Hoosiers looking to make a big jump up in the standings against the top 10 team. That's next. It's 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Rolling through a Thursday here, getting ready for the big weekend of college and NFL football. NFL starts tonight, Miami at Buffalo, and, of course, the Colts. Titans come your way Sunday afternoon at 1, but 7:30 p.m. Saturday night. Looking forward to Illinois, Indiana, two top 25 teams, and one of them is going to be behind the 8 ball after this game, and one of them is going to be in really good position for perhaps a postseason berth. And here to tell us more about the game, somebody who covers the Hoosiers full-time, Matt Weaver from Indiana University football. He covers the team there, Pigs.com and 24/7 Sports. Good morning, Matt. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys?
I'm doing well. Are you as excited as we are for this matchup on Saturday night?
Yeah, obviously this time of year, I don't think there's been a game this big for Indiana football. They had some big ones last year, but at this point of the season, week 4, I can't remember a bigger matchup than this one.
Matt, always great to hear your voice. The biggest key for you come Saturday night is what?
Well, first before I answer, happy birthday, bud.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Dialing it back
problem.
to our Plum Creek days. We could be cheersing in the cart barn at Plum Creek right now.
That's right. These two teams are pretty evenly matched. Two good, experienced quarterbacks that are really talented. You got skill players. You got guys up front. It's kind of cliche. I think it's going to come down to who makes the fewest mistakes, whether that be turnovers or something on special teams. And then when those plays are there for these quarterbacks, they're going to be some there for both sides. Who takes advantage and gets some explosive plays. But I really do think it's going to come down to which team is cleaner, sounder. And then I think the running games will be important. Football still boils down to, who wins up front. And I think the team that can run the ball a little bit better will be the team that has the better chance of getting the win.
Let's stick there for just a second. Lee Beebe tears ACL against Indiana State. Probably the only negative when you score 73 points in a game. How big of a loss is that when you talk about the run game?
Oh, it's a loss. No, he rotated in. They're playing it's a 3-headed monster at running back. Last year it was more of two guys, Justice Ellis and Tython Lawton. This year they divided it more 3 ways. So they've done this before where it's been just 2 backs and maybe sprinkled a third guy in. But it's a loss. I don't think he was the most talented running back on the roster. I think Roman Hemby probably has that title, but he might have been the best running back. As far as just kind of seeing holes and getting upfield. All 3 of these guys are good players. But it's definitely a blow. I don't think if it's a crippling blow, then you had bigger problems than Lee Beebe getting hurt. So I don't think it's a crippling blow, but it's definitely other guys are going to have to, pick up that production, whether it be Kalon Black and Roman Hemby getting a few more carries or Kobe Martin, the local kid from Fishers, getting more run, but they're going to have to make up that production because he was very productive in the first, 2.5 games where he played. So, I think they'll be okay. The biggest thing is if somebody else goes out that position, then you're really thin. But right now, I think they'll be okay. But it's definitely a knock on their run game.
Matt, I'm James Boyd here. I'm an Illinois grad, so I fully expect Illinois, this football juggernaut they've been year after year to just roll Saturday. But jokes aside, when I look at what IU has done, how much pressure do you think is on Fernando Mendoza? And I don't say pressure as a bad thing, but just him stepping into that first real test as IU's quarterback.
Oh, I agree. And excuse me, I didn't watch every game last year for Cal, but I got to think this is probably the biggest game he's played in college. They went 6-6 last year, but let's be honest. I don't think Cal was probably any primetime games or getting sold out crowds or getting talked about like this. And that's not a knock on them. It's just that's where they were last year. So there is a lot of pressure because for the most part in these games last year, Curtis Rourke was fantastic. Now, obviously, there was a couple, clunkers in there, but for the most part, Curtis Rourke stepped up and had huge games when the spotlight was on Indiana, and they were trying to make the playoffs going through the season. So, yeah, there's a lot of pressure on him. As there should be. The quarterback always gets the most pressure. They get the most glory when the team does well, and they take the most heat when they don't. So, I think he'll play well. His first game, wasn't terrible. It just maybe wasn't what people expected. And obviously, listen, the competition was not great. But the last 2 weeks, he looked really sharp. 19 out of 20 is 19 out of 20, whoever you're playing. But this week it's going to be a whole different animal, and I think he'll be ready to play. But it'll be interesting to see how he responds to the level of competition being ratcheted up a lot.
Matt, I'm just curious, when you start to take a look at Indiana's offense and where it is, granted not great competition the first 3 weeks with Mendoza, what do you see happening against Illinois?
Well, like I said, I mean, the one thing that Mendoza gives you that you didn't have last year with Curtis Rourke is he gives you the ability to run. I mean, he's not Lamar Jackson, but he's a guy that you can do those plays where he puts it in the belly and keeps it and takes off running. So, that makes things a little bit different. I think last year with Rourke, you could kind of just key on him as a passer. This year it's a little bit different. I mean, like I said, they got to be able to run the ball. They've gone for 300 yards in their first 3 games. I don't see that happening on Saturday night. I mean, if it does, then I think they're going to probably win and maybe win fairly easily. Illinois is too good for that to happen, but they've got to be able to run enough that they're not in a lot of 2nd and 9, 3rd and 8 type of situations. They need to be, they need to stay ahead of the chains and not make it so Mendoza always has to, throw the ball 12, 15 yards, whatever it may be to keep stuff going. They're going to need some explosive plays. It's going to be tough to put together 10, 12-play drives all night long. You're going to need a few explosives in there and then, take care of the ball. He hasn't thrown any picks. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen Saturday night. They've only turned the ball over one time. Illinois has been very, very good at taking the ball away. I think they're 6-0 in turnover margin. Indiana, I think, is like 5-1. So, like I said, whoever wins that battle, I think, is going to go a long way to determine this game. But Mendoza's got to be sharp. And when those plays are there, those big plays, and there'll be a few of them in the game, he needs to hit them.
That's the voice of Matt Weaver, along with obviously covering IU football on a daily basis, the recruiting aspect of the program. A big, big part of Matt's job as well. I would assume, given the nature of this game, I mean, unlike anything that program's experienced in quite some time, that the recruiting footprint would be pretty big this weekend. I'm not asking you to run down the list of prospects there, but maybe a few headliners for Curt Cignetti and company come Saturday.
Well, there's going to be a number of commits. So, maybe some local guys, C.J. Cypher from Center Grove and Casimir Hicks. They'll be on campus. And then, there's a number of guys. Jamison Purcell, the 2027 quarterback that's committed. There's a 5-star D lineman. I think it's Jalen Brewster out of Texas, who word is that he's going to be coming. So Jace Brewer, from Franklin Central, another in-state 27 kid, good player. So, yeah, right now the list is over 30. I wouldn't be surprised if it climbs a little bit more. But, yeah, this is one of those games where, I mean, in the past, let's be honest, you didn't want to bring a ton of recruits to Indiana games. This is one where you want to try to get as many as you can because the atmosphere should be electric. It should be fantastic, and hopefully it'll be a good show for these guys to see.
Matt, thanks for spending some time with us today. We're looking forward to a big game, national television, Saturday night, Bloomington, Indiana, Illinois. I know James is fired up as well. Mr. Illini over here.
Yes, I'm Mr. Illini. Matt, I look forward to you covering a loss for the IU Hoosiers come Saturday night.
Thanks so much, guys. Hey, and one thing, Kevin's right. The Reds are dead.
Dead. That's diehard Reds fan. That is that's one of the diehardest Reds fans out there.
Matt, that is hurtful. Yeah. That's just hurtful.
No, Jeff, the corpse is stinking up the joint. It's time to bury it. It's over.
Thank you, Matt. Sadly, thank you.
Am I the last Reds fan standing this year?
I mean,
it's
Jeff,
not about fandom. It's about reality.
I was going to say, and Jeff, let's be honest. Your fandom's not even that much of a fandom.
It's the first Major League Baseball game. I've been a fan since 1973.
I mean, like, you're not. How many Reds games have you watched this year?
8. Probably 8, 9.
Oh, yeah, that's. Hold on. Wait a second. You had me thinking you live and die with these guys.
When do I have time to watch an entire baseball game every week?
And, like, we're not going to go down the roster and start naming names. Like, now, I mean.
I will say I've watched a lot of innings here and there. Maybe not, 1 or 2 at the end, stuff like that. But a whole baseball game for an afternoon, occasionally.
How many games have they played? 150?
They're at 152, I believe.
What's the percentage of games you've watched then?
If we're going by 8 or 9.
Well, if we're going just portions of games, probably have. Just a portion of a game. Who watches 162 games of baseball anymore?
Joel Erickson.
I expect more than 8.
Joel might. Yeah.
Matt Weaver.
You asked me like when I sat down and I'm watching the game all day. When do I have time to watch?
My boy
all
Jeff
day.
is
Your
watching.
kids are growing
I'm
up.
watching Colts games. I'm watching Pacers games. I'm watching Fever games. What's left over?
They're at night. Man, 5% of these games, I did the math right there. 5%.
Yeah, and I'm working during the day.
Man. Some fandom there, Jeff.
You guys are killing me.
You're like me with Illinois. I only watch one game a year, and it's really going to be the one coming up this Saturday. At least I'm honest.
I mention the Reds, and I get put in Mark's little catalog over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. You guys make it tough to be a fan.
It's got to be
you have to be a fan just to survive. You guys, you got to be a fan.
I got to live in a dose of reality here, and they dead. They've been dead.
I want to know who's watched more than say a dozen the entire game all year long. How many Cubs games have you watched beginning to end?
Well, I have 3 young kids, but even then, I think I've had more than that. I think I'm.
Jeff, your kids are old enough
20?
to work.
Until later this week, they have to be driven everywhere now.
The Cubs play during the day, so the kids are in school. So I do get to watch a decent amount.
Right.
I mean, the nice thing, if you do want to commit yourself to being a baseball fan, the nice thing about it is, and even if Mark with kids, I mean, I get the games are a little quicker. You can get probably inning 5 through 9 in almost nightly without the kids. Like the kids are asleep is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, and that honestly is probably the best way to consume baseball. If you're going to be totally honest.
What time do you think my kids go to sleep? And how many events a week do they have to be driven to or picked up at?
Well, I don't. I mean,
I'm just saying, as your kids get older,
are
you
these
will have
tennis
less
matches
time.
going to 9:30 at night?
Is that how that works?
Are
As
they
your kids get older, you get less time?
7:38 when you get home. I don't know.
So you need to give them the driver's license. Get them
my
out of the
parents
house.
always said it was the opposite. They got more time. Hey, you're free now. Get out of my face.
And once they start driving, I've never been happier to have my kids start driving.
Jake and Grant, I'll teach you how to drive in 2 days. Come on over.
There's a lot of dads out there that are nodding their head with me right now.
James Boyd, any ounce of a read on Tyler Warren and this toe injury?
No, and honestly, with those players, really any player, I hate to speculate. I'm not a doctor. I'm not in the training room. I have no idea how severe it is. All we can do is go based off of what we see in practice or what we don't see in practice. So I will have the binoculars out there ready to go for you all in a few hours here when we get out to practice.
It is one thing to bring up, like, with rookies. Do you handle them differently at all? And is Warren a rookie? I mean, yes, he is, but, like, has he earned the right to just practice 1 day a week now? Like, I mean, has he gotten to that level?
Absolutely. He's their number one option.
I mean, I think he is there. And, again, he plays a role that you could scale back.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do the third down thing with him. So, for those that have missed the big storyline exiting the Colts yesterday, yes, good news on Mooney Ward. Good news on Latu, at least getting back to a level of practice. He was limited. But offensively, Josh Downs, ankle, Tyler Warren, toe. Neither of them left the game on Sunday due to injury. Both of them were observers at practice yesterday. So, again, the Wednesday injury report is more of the first assignment of the semester, but as you get deeper into the week, the absences and the availability start to matter a whole lot more. So, big Thursday on the old Colts injury report. Again, the Titans are banged up once again on their O-line, and they have already, Cam Ward has been sacked 11 times in 2 games, and they are looking like they could be without their right tackle and right guard.
Be fun to watch some Colts get some sacks. That the celebrations would be good there. Getting back to a point you made earlier in the show, you talked about the amount of usage we've seen for Tyler Warren so far. Also, JT. Shane Steichen loves his main guys, doesn't he? He just leaves those dudes out there.
We got a a text line, 317-239-1070 on that question earlier. Is Shane Steichen Tom Thibodeau? And I had a chuckle at that analogy.
I hope not.
For those not totally following.
If you know anything about Tom.
That analogy. Old Tibbs, what did the Knicks have? 3 of the top 9 guys in the NBA last year in minutes played. I think Brunson, Hart, and I don't know who the third would have been. I don't know, maybe not Randall. Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know who the third was, but 3 of the top 9 guys in minutes played last year. I think it was Anunoby for the Knicks. And like James Boyd, if you're asking me, like Jonathan Taylor's playing too much. Like I'll just come out and say that. To me, you need to scale him back. This is a 17-game grind. Look at how many carries he had at Wisconsin. I understand Taylor's dynamic. I understand his talent, and he is a great, great football player. But if I can scale some things back in September so that he checks out 17 games versus, you might work him to death in week 2. And again, no running back had a carry other than Taylor last Sunday. I'd sprinkle in DJ Giddens right now, and hopefully that will keep Taylor as fresh as possible as the season moves along, because Derrick Henry is the exception to the rule, folks. Mother Nature and Father Time, they are undefeated when it comes to running back position. So Jonathan Taylor's a pretty unique cat, and he's a great, great football player. But right now, just dial it back a little bit.
Is fan text line open and ready for business as well? 239-1070. A lot of people wishing you happy birthday today, Kevin.
Yeah, we had a few.
You're
I wanted to give.
guy.
Can I give some
that.
shout-outs?
Absolutely.
Steve, GK, and Kenny, happy birthday to them.
Oh.
They all have reached out. Happy
Nice.
birthday. And Thomas and Robin Miles, let's clap it up for them. Happy 15th wedding anniversary.
Oh, nice.
Here. So, Thomas, thank you for reaching out. I think this will be a good time of year to get married, right? Nice fall. Are you the anti-college football Saturday wedding?
Mine's coming up next month, so
Okay, so you fall into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, weather-wise, yes. Time of year, no.
Okay.
I come from the Rick Venturi school of thought, where he says you don't die, you don't get married, you don't have a baby during football season. And these are his words, not mine.
Adam wants to know, would you rather
Time out. We can't just let that comment go. James Boyd, one more time.
Rick Venturi school of thought. You don't die, you don't get married, you don't have a baby during football season.
Mm-hmm.
It's worked for him. He's almost 80.
Jeff got married. The Bowens, God willing, look like we'll have a baby here coming up in a few weeks. Mark Dyke, didn't any of your girls fall during football season?
No, they did not.
Look at that.
So he's the only one getting invited to the family reunion with Rick Venturi.
Dykton right there.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the only time to schedule those weddings is like when we have that like week 2 of the college football where it's just a crap slate.
Oh, like Michigan, Oklahoma was the only good game.
Look at the schedule. You can schedule it then.
So here's what was going on. We got married in October, and it was a Saturday, so it was college football. I was able to watch some afternoon games that day. Partied. And then we immediately then
Not
flew.
a Reds game.
Here's where I'm headed. We had our honeymoon in Hawaii, and let me tell you, NFL Sundays in Hawaii are different. You wake up, and you're having breakfast, and the first game is at 7:30 in the morning. The second game is at 10:30 in the morning. The night game comes at, 2 o'clock? And you've watched football all day, and you still have time to eat dinner on the beach.
Yeah, see, I was kind of referring to people that had weddings stateside, more so like in America.
We had the wedding here, but we immediately went to Hawaii. So that's what I was saying.
Got it. Shout out to Evan Sherrill as well. He mentioned that they got married on a Saturday in November and then went to the Colts game the next day.
That's
tremendous.
honey.
That's good stuff.
That's really that's Jumbotron honor there. And Derek, the Air Force was created on this day some 70, 80 years ago. So shout out to the Air Force.
Quite the day.
Gotta like that. But anyway, happy birthday, and we hope you have as much fettuccine Alfredo as you can possibly handle.
I cannot wait for fettuccine Alfredo tonight. I cannot wait. I love fettuccine Alfredo so much more than you love cycling.
Do you just do straight fettuccine Alfredo? Do you add shrimp or chicken or anything to it?
I could dabble in a little chicken.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm like, it's your birthday. Get a little chicken, man.
Obviously, I always have chicken with fettuccine Alfredo.
By the way, I'm not maybe a traditional cake human. I like the chocolate chip cookie cake. Can you guys get behind that?
Oh, yes, 100%.
Sure.
I like that thing.
The skillet cookie?
Yes, basically a skillet cookie, excellent. But Mark, I can even dabble in the iced version of the chocolate chip cookie. I vote for that over traditional.
I'll take that.
Whatever, black, white cake.
You guys used to make fun of me, Mark, because I don't eat all the frosting off the cake.
Yeah.
Too much sugar.
I'm not a big sweets guy, though.
No, if I eat too much frosting, I get a big sugar high.
I took a fork and just whipped it all up, and it's just like plain bread. I'm like, what are you doing?
No.
I'm not a big
not if it's moist.
dessert guy.
Well,
Colleen Bowen, my mother, only eats the icing.
There was a Colleen that wished you happy birthday on the text line, by the way.
I wonder if that was my mom.
Could be.
My mom was one of the first texts in the morning.
That could be. Could be.
Is that a thing? Moms always do that. My mom is always.
Shout out to my dad as well. His birthday on Sunday. Brad Bowen.
Nice.
Happy birthday to
you.
I love you.
I feel like my dad just copy and paste my birthday wish every year. He always says I remember you coming out, getting born at this hour. I'm like, all right. I know I came out ass first. That kind of tells me a lot about my life. I get it.
JR texts in, Jeff, son's been driving for 3 months now. All caps. Total game changer.
See?
You get your life back. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you be watching Reds games once a week all of a sudden.
Let's go.
Get those numbers up.
Yeah.
Pump
Let's
those
go.
digits
And
up.
we're talking full games just to make sure.
Should we play the game how many Reds players Jeff can name on this year's roster to really test his fandom?
Let's do it.
I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up.
I didn't want that at all.
I'll pull it up.
The look on Jeff's face told you everything you needed to know.
It seems like
Morning checkdown, save us.
That man was
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, I'm going to lead with the Reds beating the St. Louis Cardinals by a score of 6-2 last night. They're just 2 games out of the wild card with 10 to play, and the Mets are struggling, and they have to take on the San Diego Padres for the next 4 days.
40 players on the active roster. Can you name 5?
Ellie De La Cruz, right there.
That's 1. 4 more?
No, probably not. Not a lot more.
Die hard Red fans.
Boy, but let's lead the check down with it.
Mark,
It's
in
better
all
radio if I do
seriousness,
it that way.
Congrats to your Cubs on the
Thank
clinch yesterday.
Thank you. Yes, they clinched the wild card, a wild card spot, maybe the division. We'll see. But yeah, nice win there. So looking good. First time I get to enjoy some October baseball in a couple of years, so I'm excited for it.
All right, the Cubs did win 8-4 to clinch that wild card, as you've been talking about all morning. So congratulations to the Cubs. Not only was it long, but it was deep and wide. People excited.
Yes, sir. Big, long, deep, and wide this weekend.
Been
Cubs
excited
coming to
about
Great
the
American
season since the
Ballpark.
beginning of the year. I get nothing but grief.
That's just a wild description of a line.
Fever play tonight at 7:30.
It's a miracle people
Airtime,
listen.
7:50. They can't wait to hear what happens next.
A big one for the Fever tonight. Yes, season on the line. 7.5 point underdog. Seems like a lot. Again, get the game ugly. I think if you're able to create some game pressure moments late, I don't know. Kelsey Mitchell on that left hand. Just something about it that I think could be a takeover, but maybe I'm living too much in fantasy world here. And we'll see. Scott Agnes wasn't too high on the atmosphere in game 1, and they're back in that building again tonight. We'll see where the urgency level is. Again, these best-of-3 series, boy, I just think the house money team can be playing a little free tonight. We'll see if the Fever can take advantage of that.
All right, that'll be heard right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Eddie Garrison has the Fan pregame show for you at 7:15. Colts injury updates. We'll find out a little bit more today, but what did we see yesterday, James?
The biggest news was that Tyler Warren wasn't practicing due to a toe injury, and Josh Downs was out because of an ankle injury. Ayatu Latu was limited with a hamstring that he aggravated last week. And then also keep an eye on Tyler Goodson. He was a full participant in practice, hasn't played yet this year. Another option as that backup running back role.
All right, we've got NFL football tonight. Miami plays at Buffalo. We're getting ready for a big weekend of college football. We've been talking about Indiana and Illinois all day long. Some really big high school football games coming up this weekend too, guys. Fishers at Brownsburg. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's a big football game in 6A.
Yeah, I think Brownsburg is the class of the state, so I expect them to win, kind of like Illinois will. 2 scores at least.
Yeah. Kevin, you interested in Pendleton Heights at New Pal at all?
Yeah, I know that's kind of a good undercard. Talking to Dominic Miranda yesterday, I believe they could be at Mooresville, Decatur, I want to say. So, yeah, it's crazy to think week 5 of college football, and once again, weather looks awesome. I mean, remember, I think it was last year, maybe the year before that, we had, just horrific weather in the first 5 weeks of the high school football season. So, great to see on that as we inch closer to sectional draw time.
Going back to college football real quick, you and Todd Meyer going to have any kind of a little side bet on
Rosie Bone and I in the
Notre
building.
Dame?
We're in the building coming up Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Cannot wait for that. So, yes, Rosie and I, she asked me last night, is there popcorn and can we get a hamburger?
And the
Simple
answer
life.
is yes, right?
I think we can do both of those
Yeah.
things, right?
Simple life, man.
And can Dad have a beer?
So
she
you
did
and,
not say that.
you
but
and
that was
Meyer are
good.
going to have a little side bet there?
24 points seems like a lot. Have they seen Notre Dame play defense this season?
Yeah, the bet would have to be the spread. It certainly couldn't be only one other game.
No, thank you, James. Hopefully, that is true.
Ain't no hopefully. Ain't enough hope in the world to help Purdue beat Notre Dame.
I can't imagine I'd drive home.
All right. Anything else you guys want to throw in before we head on to 9:30 and our next guest? Hammer coming in here to talk betting lines with us.
I like Miami in the points tonight. Call me crazy.
It's 12.5. Is that what it is?
We'll see if Jason Hammer poo-poos that idea. Biggest spread in the NFL all year long right here tonight.
All right. Coming up next, it's Jason Hammer in studio, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Our sports reports earlier today brought to you by Bet365. When it comes to sports books, Bet365 has it all. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Colts getting ready to take on the Tennessee Titans coming up on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. We got a Thursday night game tonight with Miami at Buffalo. We've all been talking about Illinois and Indiana all week long. But I got to ask you, from my boy, for Hunter Green and Ellie De La Cruz and the two Hayes boys and Pagan and Stevenson and guys that I'm not supposed to be able to name for the Reds. Do they have any chance?
Man, this dude looked this up during the break. I'm not
Can
we get some searches?
What's on my computer screen right there?
5 minutes ago.
It's fine to admit that you're a favorite
Hammer,
Reds
don't
fan.
fall for this, man. Don't fall for this.
Never let an opportunity for good radio to go by the wayside,
ain't no
James.
good
I
radio.
told you that during the break.
Here's why the Reds are not going to make it.
Are they going to make the postseason?
No, and this is why. They closed the Hooters on the Ohio River down there. I'm going down to Cubs and Reds this weekend. My old man's a Reds fan, right? So we take a trip every year. He spills his big red machine propaganda to me. And we used to hit that Hooters right there at Newport across the river. It's closed down now. They shut it down. So for that very reason, they're not going to make the playoffs, Jeff. That's it right there. It's the ghost of Hooters.
Now, most importantly, we need to shut down some casinos. All right, Jason Hammer. We haven't gotten off to a great start.
No.
Let's just call a spade a spade.
That opening theme music should have been, oh, God, here comes the hammer.
But we're due. And tonight, we've got the line of all lines. I believe it's the biggest spread we've had in the NFL this season. Mark mentioned during the break, I think it's come down even more. So depending where you're going to get it, you're looking at 11, 12-ish here. Dolphins, Bills. Talk us through it.
I may be a sucker, but I feel like the Dolphins can't be this bad all the time.
Okay, I'm with you.
All the
I'm
time.
with you.
So looking at this game, that's a big number. And teams with big numbers have been covering this year. Like games over 6.5, heavy favorites have been beating the brakes off of the have-nots. But man, they've given up 33 points to everybody they've played. And none of those teams are as good as Buffalo. And I get it's a short week, so I'm trying to find a new way.
And they're on the road.
Yeah. Trying to find a new way to bet this game tonight, right? So to get that over, you need help from the Dolphins. I think they'll be better, but I'm not sold on that. So let's look at the Bills team total tonight. 30.5. If this Dolphins defense can give up 33 to the Colts and 33 the following week, I get there's that little letdown feeling, short week with Buffalo, but Josh Allen's a different animal, and that offense is pretty freaking good. I don't know if they can cover that big number. That's such a large number for an NFL game, but I think the Bills are good for 31. So we're going to ride the Lightning tonight. Bills team total over 30.5. That's where we're going.
Okay. I like Josh Allen against that secondary. We've been talking about that secondary since we played them 2 weeks ago. They're banged up and they're not that good when they're healthy.
Anything from an individual prop bet for tonight?
Sure. Let's go with Khalil Shakir over 40.5 yards receiving. If you look at the over-under on catches, it's at 4.5, okay? So let's say that 4 is the baseline. Let's say 4 is the average of what Vegas expects. 9 of his last 11 games, he's had 4 catches or more. He's gone over 40 yards. So if that's the baseline this week, we're cashing over 40.5. Let's go with Miami running back Achane anytime touchdown. Dolphins, I think, are going to try to run the ball. If they get in the red zone, they'll try to run the ball on Buffalo. And longest completion, Tua, over 34.5 yards. At some point, you just got to chuck one down to Tyreek, or maybe you catch a slant with Waddle and he gets in the open field. If you think they're going to be behind, they're going to be throwing the ball. 34.5, longest completion for Tua tonight.
You know, it's crazy. People talk about Tyreek Hill not being Tyreek Hill. He's got 10 catches in 2 games for 150 yards almost.
Yeah. But he's every bit of the diva wide receiver we grew up watching, right? Like, he's Michael Irvin. He's a little bit of Randy Moss. Moss wasn't so much of a diva compared to some of these other dudes.
Antonio Brown comes to
T.O. a little bit. Yeah, he's every bit of that, and the wheels are falling off. So if you think Tua's trying to take care of his guy tonight, over 34.5, I looked at Dalton Kincaid's reception total, and it was a little too low and a little too much juice. I keep saying 2.5. Now, if you want to buy that up, go ahead, but 2.5 seems almost like a given to Dalton Kincaid. Last 4 games against the Dolphins, the lowest total he's had is 4. So if you want to buy that up to 3.5, go ahead, but you're still paying a pretty heavy price on that from the odds makers.
Spencer chiming in here in the YouTube chat believes that Hooters got shipped down the river recently.
It did last month.
Okay.
Last month.
Okay.
Every year, like when the Ohio River would flood, that Hooters would flood, and I think they just got tired of dealing with it, so they've put it on a barge and sent it down the Ohio River.
I get the sense you went down there just to go to the Hooters that was there before it got washed away.
Oh, it was great because you could eat, and then they had this little boat, this little ferry that would take you right to the ballpark.
Oh,
You just
it's
walk
beautiful.
right in there, and me and the old man would just do degenerate stuff and had a good time, and heading down there again on Sunday. So if anybody in your YouTube chat or Twitter sphere or wherever has a new place where we can go eat at, let us know.
We got a lot of great establishments right outside the stadium. Okay, anything Saturday, college football and or Colts on Sunday. They are a road favorite here in week 3. That is hovering right around 3 or 4 points.
Divisional road favorites weird me out. So I'm looking at a prop here. How about Danny Dimes? Over 206.5 passing yards. Over 206.5. I think he can throw on the Titans. I think he can throw on that secondary. And assuming that Tyler Warren plays, he's healthy. Assuming Josh Down plays, is healthy enough, I think you can get there. This isn't 306.5. It's 206.5. And we're going to ride that lightning and go over on that one too.
I'm a little disappointed. Last week you came in with like a crumpled in your back pocket legal pad with chicken scratch on it and all your lines and notes. Very organized on the phone this week.
Did this on the can. It's hard to write on a notebook when you're sitting on the can, Jeff. So had my phone out, was taking notes, and I feel responsible.
Hey, and you know what that means? If you win this week, you're back on the can next week.
Absolutely,
Picking
100%.
winners.
Like last week, we had the over in that game, right?
Correct.
3 straight missed field goals. Just one goes through, we at least get a push.
Thank you, Matt Gay, right?
Like we had Matt Gay, we had the other kicker too, 2 shanks and a push. Come on, man.
We are due.
Right? Like, water finds its level, and man, I'm due for a flood at this point in the season.
Do you like James Illini this
Due
week?
for the Hooters flood is what he's
That's
due
what we're
for
looking
right
for. The
here.
Newport Hooters flood is what's coming in this weekend.
So, Hammer, big game.
You're 5 pounds lighter.
IU hosting Illinois. Do you like my Illini on the road here?
It's a lot of points, man. It's a lot of points. The professional gambler guys that we do the podcast with, the Gyms Next Door, one of them loves Illinois with the points. I'm on the over on that one. I know it's a Big Ten game, but 2 really good quarterbacks and 2 head coaches, if given the opportunity, won't let up. Like, they'll run the score up if given the opportunity. So I went with the over on that one, but I'm just saying, one of the pro dudes, David from Follow Never Fade, he's on the Illini with the points.
Shout out to David.
Twice a week, Jason Hammer.
Yeah.
College football and an NFL, correct?
That's it. Tuesdays, we do the college show. Thursdays, going to record the NFL show here in just a little bit. Anywhere you get your podcast, it's all free. We make pro handicappers give you free picks. We strong arm them. Degenerates Next Door.
All right. Thanks for stopping by, as always.
Let's win something tonight, can we? Can we get a dub? Let's go.
You should be able to just email those to me now.
Khalil Shakir over on yards, Tua longest completion.
Not hearing his mic again, Mark. I'm not sure what's going on there. There we go. Try that again.
He said we're going to win so much money, we're going to be above the law. That's what he said.
Bills over on points, Khalil Shakir over on yards, Tua longest completion over.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's
Thanks,
go.
buddy.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. There he is, Jason Hammer. You can hear him starting at 4 o'clock this afternoon on
3 o'clock.
WIBC. 3 o'clock.
Thanks for listening.
All right. Well, for a long time, wasn't it 4 to 7? All right. I'm on a roll today. What can I say? Tell you what, we'll wrap it up big time next as we get ready for the Colts and that big football game between Indiana and Illinois and a fever playoff game tonight. We'll finish up strong on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Take anything to heart during the break on anything Jason had to say there on upcoming lines tonight or this weekend, KB?
Yeah, it's kind of funny how, week one you had that Tyler Warren over-under on catches, 3.5, just thought absolute lock. When he said the Daniel Jones 206 yards, the over-under, it does just seem like such a lock. I know it sounds great. I would have laughed at myself 3 weeks ago for saying that. But again, Tennessee's defense, Denard Wilson, they have some history with Shane Steichen. He has said that they want to amp up the pressure with Daniel Jones. And so far, through 2 weeks, Daniel Jones has, frankly, hibachied teams when they have tried to blitz and or pressure him. But we'll see. We'll see about Tyler Warren's status with that toe injury. We'll see about Josh Downs and his status with the ankle. Obviously, James, I'm curious, is it the same ankle as last year? Remember, he obviously had the high ankle sprain. Missed a good, first 2 weeks, I want to say?
First 2 games, yes.
Yeah, first 2 games of last season. So a little bit more of an offensive side to the injury report this week based off what we had last week.
How do we feel about the Fever being 6.5-point underdogs in Game 3 tonight in Atlanta?
It feels a bit high, but obviously I'm not surprised that the Dream are favored just because they're the higher seed, play better basketball all year than the Fever. But I think it'll be a close game. I picked them to, unfortunately, have their season come to an end tonight. I know you all picked them to extend it, but either way, I think this game goes down to the wire.
I think it comes down to what we talked about earlier. In the first game, Atlanta was red hot from three-point range. Fever couldn't make anything. Game 2, Fever were making a lot of three-point field goals. Atlanta couldn't hit the side of the barn. I think whoever has the most three-point field goals tonight probably wins the basketball game.
Absolutely. And then when you look at just how the game starts, I mean, you cannot, if you are the Fever, really, I just don't think you have a lot of room for error or margin for error if you start off pretty slow. So you probably want to make a couple shots early on. I'm not saying anything that's, besides Captain Obvious here with some of the things I'm suggesting. But, Captain Obvious, it says make a few shots, get the crowd up off of you early on. And I think that'll help you settle in.
James, I don't want to go here fully committed, but I probably wouldn't have said it on the morning of Game 7. Hey, we're looking at the final game of Miles Turner in a Pacers uniform.
Yeah.
We're not looking at the final game in Kelsey Mitchell in a Fever uniform, are we?
No. I was talking to Tony East about this, and so from what I understand, the Fever can still core her, and in layman's terms, that means that they could franchise tag her in a sense. And so
even with the new CBA being announced?
That's the thing. I'm not exactly sure how that will work, but under the previous rules, you could still core her, and I wonder if you can do that before the next CBA kicks in. A lot of that stuff is a very unique situation, Kevin. But either way, I would assume there is some sort of franchise tag component of even a new CBA, which they would certainly want to utilize on Kelsey Mitchell.
Because I could see people with Kelsey Mitchell's professional career arc. I think she's 29, if I'm not mistaken. If she were an NBA player, that's very similar to Miles Turner, frankly, in his age. And if all of a sudden some team, and Kelsey Mitchell, to be fair, has been a much better player in her career than Miles Turner, but still, if some team came calling and said, hey, the Fever are going here with you, because again, you've got extensions for Aaliyah Boston. You've obviously have something down the road for Caitlin Clark. If another team says, Kelsey Mitchell, we're going here, and the Fever are a little bit below that, could that happen? So obviously an unbelievable opportunity tonight for the Fever, but this could also be certainly some. I should probably preface it by saying this. Some big decisions in the offseason with Kelsey Mitchell. Sophie Cunningham's a free agent. Natasha Howard's a free agent. Lexi Hall, I believe, is a restricted free agent. So just life with the Fever right now.
Yeah, all you have to say is that the only 2 players they have under contract is Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston beyond this season. And so
it was all chips kind of in for this year.
And so it's unfortunate that the injuries kind of derailed that, but a lot of decisions to be made after whenever their season comes to an end. And obviously, for tonight's purposes, their Fever are hoping to keep it alive for at least one more round.
How many can they protect again for expansion draft? Do we know?
You are asking the wrong person. I would have to look that up.
I will look that up and get back to you
tomorrow.
Sorry, brother. One thing already, I knew this was going to happen at some point, Mark, on the text line this morning at 239-1070. Our good friend wants to know, hey, RC wants to know, I don't play any of you guys this week, so tell me, would you start Kincaid instead of Brock Bowers, who's still showing questionable? Here you go.
Boy, I don't know. I don't like the Thursday night matchup for him just because if he doesn't do well, you're in the hole out there. And wouldn't you like to kind of see what happens to Brock Bowers? I'd almost rather stick with Bowers, and if you have to make a last-second
pick up Michael Mayer.
Yeah.
As if Bowers is a late scratch,
yeah,
that's what I would do, Mark. I don't think Kincaid's that big of a lock. I know Hammer just talked about him, but
no, I would stick with Bowers, and if you have to swap him out on Sunday, then you go ahead and do that. But I wouldn't put chips in on Kincaid today.
What time will we get? When's the next injury report come out for NFL teams? Do you know?
The Colts practice at 1 today.
Okay. Yeah, and it typically comes out in the afternoon around like 4:30.
But in terms of Bowers, you're obviously a West Coast team there, so it's a little bit different. And last week, if I'm not mistaken, Bowers didn't practice the first 2 days of the week, then practiced the final day.
Yeah,
so,
and played.
This gets back to our old grading scale. Wednesday matters 10%, Thursday matters 30%, Friday matters 60%. That's how I view it in NFL life. So Tyler Warren, Josh Downs, we'll find out around 1 o'clock today whether they're practicing or not.
All right, keep it tuned here to 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan all day long, and we'll get you caught up on exactly what's going on. Jake Query comes your way from noon to 3 as always, and then JMV has the ride from 3 to 6, so we're looking forward to that. In the meantime, happy birthday, Kevin Bowen. Again, I hope
it's
you
your
get
birthday. We gonna party
all
like
the
it's
fettuccine
your
Alfredo
birthday.
in the world.
A little disappointed Mark didn't play that today, James. Little
Yeah,
disappointed.
you know, he
Like
was
when I
off-
think of birthday anthems, that to me
is
a big birthday
Yeah.
anthem.
All right, well, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.
Wait, we got a minute. All right, well then.
It says
cue the music, brother.
I'm looking at the wrong one then. Man.
Well, we got
man.
time to name a few more Reds players.
There we go. There we go. Pagan, Stevenson. I don't know.
Mark, in all seriousness, I was kind of hoping,
Hold on. If I can get through the damn YouTube ad, I'll
we got
happily
another
play
minute
it.
to go there.
There we go.
When I think of birthday anthems, that's kind of where I'm going on that one.
You gonna kick a field goal at the Children's Museum?
I might.
It's your birthday.
I might dabble a
We
little
gonna
bit.
party like it's
Climb to
your
the top of the
birthday.
treehouse. Great view when you're up there.
What's your favorite thing to do over there?
I'm a little biased towards the golf.
All right.
But honestly, I mean, I know we talked about it earlier. I think it's an awesome outdoor activity.
Brother, I have a cane waiting for you when we get to the Colts facility. Happy birthday.
I'm going to need one of those scooters, one of those Hunter Wooler scooters.
Mark, since you were so happy about it, you go ahead and wrap us up today.
We're off the